What's going on, everybody? Elliot here from Movie Files. And tonight's a very special night, guys. We are not only, preparing for Mother's Day tomorrow, which is kind of coincidental considering this film, and everything that goes on with the movie, but also this movie that we're watching tonight, Friday the 13th, 1980, is a slasher horror classic, in my opinion. And we're celebrating tonight. And I have some guests with me tonight. We're waiting on one of our guests to come on, but I got my guy from Michigan, this gentleman here, Q Reviews, man. This guy brings the energy. He knows what he's talking about. He's a big horror fan like myself, so I definitely had to bring him on tonight because I know he's a big Jason fan. So again, we're waiting for one of my guests to come on, but in the meantime, I'm going to introduce you guys to one of my guests, and that's Q from Q Reviews. What's going on, man? Tonight, we're waiting on one of our guests to come on, but I got my guy from Michigan. This gentleman here, Q Reviews. This guy brings the energy. He knows what he's talking about. What's going on, Q?
What up, man?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much, man. Yeah, I just want to, again, kind of to introduce you to the audience here, man. And again, I had to have you on the next. I know, as you guys can see in the background, he got his Jason Voorhees figure in the back, got the mask on, so I had to bring you on, man. But I want you to kind of introduce yourself to the audience, my friend. Let them know what you're about, what your channel's about, and all that fun stuff, man. The stage is yours, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much, Elliot, for having me on once again, to talk about my favorite slasher franchise of all time. May I add. Yes, I am Q Reviews. I do movie reviews. I just have a blast on my channel. We review things like, mostly movies, saying sometimes games. I just did a review on the Master P noodles. Would be looking out for that. And I love horror is my favorite genre, but I love all type of genre movies. And it's an honor to be on here tonight with Elliot to talk Friday the 13th. Yes, tomorrow's Mother's Day. Kill for Mother, as we're going to get into this film. So if you guys want to check out my content, just go ahead, type in Q Reviews, and you can get a whole slew of funny and entertaining videos and knowledgeable as well. It's best as I can put it. So thank you.
Awesome, man. I couldn't, like I said, man, I thought when I was doing this a couple weeks ago, I'm like, man, I know Q would be a perfect guest to have on here because I know your fandom. That's, as you had mentioned, this is your favorite horror franchise, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's true.
Oh yeah, Friday 13th is my favorite slasher horror movie franchise. Of course, your boy Jason Voorhees is my favorite slashers killer in the 80s. Nice, I grew up with these things. Yeah. So
awesome, man.
Friday 13th, you had me in, son.
That's what it's about, man. Like I said, we're celebrating it tonight. This franchise, before, we saw Jason and Freddy fighting off in the crossover event. Before we saw Jason having becoming a zombie, and before even the hockey mask, we have Friday the 13th. And this film definitely kind of sets a precedent. Obviously, this film was kind of following the footsteps after 1978's successful film Halloween, which we'll talk about other franchises in this slasher genre, but it kind of set its own kind of tone, right? It kind of introduced a little bit more of the teen environment, sex, drugs, people getting taken out left and right, and it really kind of set the precedent for things to come in the future in regards to other slashers and things of that nature. So it's a pretty important film to the culture of horror fans, to the slasher films. And again, just to kind of go back into it, Q, where does your love for the original Friday 13th, where did it begin? Where does it stand now? Just kind of, what do you feel about the franchise in regards to this first movie to set off, 11 films in the franchise, including the spinoff or the reboot? So tell me your first impressions of this first movie and what makes you love it so much.
Right. So yeah, coming up in the VHS era, I'm a little older. Yeah, I think this week I turned 44.
44?
44.
What? I wouldn't even imagine it, man.
Yeah. The blood of, the blood of the vampires keep me.
Got you. Hey, man, you look good, brother. You look good, man.
Oh, thanks so much. But yeah, coming up in the VHS era, back in the day, we got VHS. I think we went down to like furniture stores had VHS stores in there, and we got these special movies, and we got them. My grandmother had 2 VCRs, so you know what that means. We figured out how to watch Friday the 13th multiple times. For sure. The 80s, all criminal things lifted by this time.
Gotcha.
But yeah. So I didn't see the first Friday 13th at first. I think I started off with part 3. You know, just
Okay.
around that time. You know what I'm saying? And then I went back and seen the first Friday the 13th film, and I just thought from the brutal violence of this film, you know what I'm saying? Coming from that time, I have never seen creative kills and people done off in a certain way in horror movies. Now, 1978 Halloween, as you mentioned, set the mood. John Carpenter's film is an excellent stalker film, in my opinion. I think it just sets the mood and the atmosphere for Halloween. But Friday the 13th, seeing that success and wanted to bank off of it, I think, and so they took the camping in the woods effect to try to bring something different, and they turned up the violence in Friday the 13th to like Halloween's mild violence to Friday the 13th was probably like a 9 or 8 or a 9, and people have never seen creative kills like that. So that's what I think spawned the success of Friday the 13th, and it ended up being the most popular slasher franchise of the 1980s. So taking off from Halloween, biting off their style, if you will.
Right. Taking that baton and kind of going in their own lane.
Yeah. Like apples and windows. And so like
there you go.
So they just took that and just ran with it. And then when the character, the hockey mask Jason came, it was over for, I say, a good 4 or 5 years of with him dominating, of him being the king.
Definitely, man. And we're gonna break it all down too in this stream later today. Later in the stream, guys, we're gonna talk about some of our favorite films in the franchise, where we hope to see the franchise go. I got some fun games I wanted to play with you all in regards to Jason versus other slasher icons. Talk about some final females in these film genres. So it's a lot of great things we'll be doing. So it is 6:06 on my time. We're gonna probably start this. Let's say 6:10. So in about 3 minutes from now, we're gonna get this started, guys, and get this watch along going. So we got a couple people in the chat. We got Bearded Film Reviews. What's going on, man? Looks like you got a local Michigan person himself, man. He's representing Michigan as well. So that's awesome. And looks like he's showing you some support. Subscribe to your channel. That's awesome. That's what it's about, man. Definitely, we appreciate that, Bearded. Definitely.
I appreciate it, man.
We got Chris here from Talking TV podcast. Excited to watch this film with everyone for the first time. And that's interesting. That I'm glad Chris brought that up. This is my first time watching this, and I want to say, man, probably in about 5 or 6 years. I'm a big fan of this franchise, and I'll talk about kind of who I gravitate towards more later in the stream, but it's been a minute since I've seen this film, so obviously I know the twists and turns of some of the characters, but this is going to be kind of a refresher for me, so I'm excited to kind of revisit Camp Crystal Lake and see what this film has to offer. So you got some Robin in the chat. What's going on? Thank you for joining. We really appreciate it. Again, guys, if you're stopping by, make sure you're not only subscribe to this channel, Movie Files, but again, show my boy Q some love and check out his content. Like I said, he has a lot of energy. As you all can see, he is a horror fan himself, but he also talks about other genre things, whether it be action movies, comedies, big blockbuster films. So definitely show him some love and subscribe to his channel as well. So definitely make sure you guys are giving this video a thumbs up, and let's have some fun tonight. We're going to have a good time celebrating this film. So Talking TV said he's excited to be watching this. Talking TV, and there was same here. We got Dom in the mix. So yeah.
Oh man,
it's gonna be a fun time, man. Definitely. We got Connor here. Glad you can make it, Connor. Appreciate you stopping by. Sarah here. I made it. PURP sent me. Yeah, we're still waiting for PURP. I don't know if he got caught by Jason, if he's running from Jason, if he's running from Mrs. Voorhees, but hopefully he can make it to the stream and join the fun. But we'll let you guys know when PURP has made it in. So we got people from California. All right, so this is gonna be a good time. So we got about a minute before we get this bad boy started, and what we're gonna do is, for everyone at home, if you don't own this film, like I'm playing it on my Blu-ray now, the physical, I have the unrated, uncut version, which I think is like 11-second difference between the theatrical and this version. But I'll be watching it on my Blu-ray. But if you guys are looking, where can I find this film to watch it with us? It is available for free on the Crackle app. But then it's also available to like rent or buy on iTunes, I believe the Google Play Store. It's available for YouTube as well, for like $2.99. And then what else is it? Amazon Prime and Vudu. So if you guys don't own the physical copy, check out those other sites. It's in the description below, and you guys can join the chat and join us watch along for us here. So We're gonna get this started here in a bit. I got a little timer that I'm gonna get it started. So as soon as the clock hits 6:10, we're gonna all press play and get this bad boy started. All right, so it's 6:10 now, and let me go ahead and bring up my timer. There we go here, and let me bring it up, and then in the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, pressing play now. And then occasionally throughout the stream, guys, I'll go ahead and bring this timer up so you guys can know exactly where we are. So for those that are just watching the replay or joining in, you know where we are in the film. So again, Q, you said going back to your experience with this franchise, you actually saw the third one first versus the original, right?
Right. Yep. Gotcha. Yep. Part 3. Yep. Yep. When you get that hockey mask with Tully and all that, that's the one I remember the most. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm trying to remember. I think the first time I was exposed to Jason, I think a lot of us fans that grew up in horror, we end up seeing things a lot earlier or things that we should not supposed to see. I remember my dad was a big horror fan, and I think the first time I was exposed to Jason, with this franchise in particular, was the Jason Lives, which is the fourth one. Is that the fourth one?
Yeah, that's part 6. Yeah,
part 6. Okay, that was the first time.
Yeah.
The zombie Jason, yeah, which I'm like, what is going on? But I eventually kind of, did the rewind game and went back and started from the beginning. And actually watching this, I have the 8-part like collection. I'm gonna probably, especially this Halloween, probably watch all of them and kind of give my thoughts on the entire franchise. But this is definitely up there for me, man. This is like you said earlier, he set the precedent in regards to kind of the genre, the slasher genre and the kills, man, were just so creative, like you said.
Oh yeah.
And again, the thing I love too about this film is just you mentioned the kills, but it has the kind of that simplistic type of cinematography, and again, just simple characters. It's not too convoluted in storyline. Doesn't get too crazy as some of the other films kind of do later in the franchise. But I like the simplicity of the film.
Yeah. It's very simple and very, very creepy. You know. Mm-hmm. And it made people not want to go into the woods too much,
Right.
Like my little son, he didn't grow up on Jason. They're like, we go out to a farm or something like that. He won't go near the woods. It's like, yeah, but Jason back there. So
right. Hey man, that's what a good horror film does to you, and I like the kind of approach too. When we talk a little bit about not necessarily copy and paste of Halloween, but it has kind of that stalker approach where you don't, the first kind of the POV of the killer and kind of lurking in the shadows and watching his victim. I kind of like that approach to the film.
Yeah, it's the early movies of the slasher genre. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like really technical. I guess the first slasher movie would be like Psycho.
Yeah. And not giving too much away for those that this is their first time watching. We obviously won't give away the big twist towards the end of this film, but this definitely has a lot of Psycho vibes in regards to the roles are somewhat reversed a little bit compared to Psycho. But we'll just leave it at that and not spoil it for all those that are watching for the first time at home. So here you go. It's classic kids out in the woods and being kids, man. Being kids. Again, just to setting the stage of the movie. Again, something bad's going to happen. You just know it.
Yeah, it's a matter of when. Yeah, the other thing, the soundtrack, I really like about in this film too. It just sets, I don't know.
It sets the mood. I definitely with the score and the kind of the atmospheric type of tones that are brought there, and of course the classic.
Yeah. Fun fact, like I used to do the same thing. They say it's really they came up. It's what is it? It's like
kill. Mama. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird because I always say
creepy. That was my thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That was crazy. Oh yeah, breaking horror movie number 1.
Yeah.
Don't get it on ever. Number 1, kids.
Yeah, I remember.
Remember, kids, if you kiss a girl in Camp Crystal Lake, you're probably gonna.
Yeah, you're probably done for. Just messing around. Just messing my ass. It's dead, bro.
Yeah.
There's that score you were referring to a little bit earlier again, and almost kind of like that psycho vibes to it. Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
I don't know what she's doing, but she's dead.
I mean, throw a light box at the killer. That'll stop him. That'll slow him down.
You got the little phrase for it. So again, I mean, it's kind of setting precedent in regards to when I go back to these older films, Friday 13th, Jason, Halloween. During those times, I can only imagine how the audience reacted to this first open scene. Because again, as you mentioned, the brutality. There's only been a handful of films that kind of went to those levels of seeing the blood and seeing people's throats getting cut. So again, I always want to kind of be, a fly on the wall for, when audiences were reacting to this, like how they had the in-game reactions of the final battle. I would have loved to have, obviously they didn't have much of the technology they would have now, but I would have loved to have seen the audience reaction for a film like this during 1980.
Yeah, they had the great Tom Savini on here, the master of slashers in the '80s, and this is one of the films that made him, for all these creative kids, like who did that? Him. He had a bubblegum crew because, of course, his budget was not that much. So, like, he had a bubblegum.
Man, I want to say it was like $500,000, like 500,000 that this film was produced on, which is crazy. I mean, you couldn't even make anything with that nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Ended up being a huge hit, which spawned some more movies.
Yeah, some good ones and some head scratcher ones. And again, we see Jason in space. We see Jason become a zombie. We see all the different tropes, and I would love to get your thoughts on it too a little bit later. But I'm just curious on what to do with this franchise. I know for the longest time it's been like kind of a legal dispute going on with the film. So I'd be really curious to see.
Sean Cunningham and another guy, they had beef with the rights for Jason because one person said they own Friday 13th and another person said they own the rights to type of Jason Voorhees. That's what's been going on. Like they had a game and everything. They had to stop development on like putting future DLC in the games. No more licensed Jason figures, you know what I'm saying, at this point, because it was really all out. It's a real nasty legal battle, and that is what's keeping the film in development hell right now.
Did you ever? Because I know that some people rave about that game. You ever play that game?
Oh, game? Yeah, of course.
You played it? Is it dope?
I mean, you know what? Like the graphics are not like the best. What they do now is the Camp Crystal Lake. You know what I'm saying? All the scenes from the movies and things like that, and they absolutely nailed Jason. Like all his iterations from like the zombie one to part 3 and the running Jason and the slow Jason, and it's basically online player. 8 people get to be counselors, and usually one person gets to be Jason. And you just got to try to survive the night. Call the police, try to let the time run out. But you as Jason, you feel just that power. You feel like Jaws. You know what I'm saying? That power just kill them all one by one. You feel so good when you get all 8. Like, yo, I killed them all. I killed them all. I feel so. I played that game so much. Me and my friends, we had we had a crew called Camp Crystal Meth.
Oh, okay. Interesting name. Very, very, very nice name.
It was crazy. We was a crazy group, and then we would just go around trying to kill Jason because in the way you can get certain things, you can kill Jason and things like that. That game was a blast. I mean, when it got caught up in development hell, it kind of killed the game a little bit, and we kind of walked away. But every Friday we get together and
check it out.
Yeah, we check it out. Yeah.
Another classic horror trope. You get the crazy man Ralph preaching, these youngsters that they need to watch out. They need to, watch their backs.
That place is a death kiss.
I'm telling you guys, you take some notes. Any crazy guys with hats like that and looking crazy as he is, you got to take someone's advice like that sometimes.
Yeah,
believe it or not. But we got talking TV handhelds like that in the early 90s were very cool. Yeah, definitely. Kind of again sets the it's kind of different now from all the cranes and all the kind of crazy shots that we get in some of these more psychological horror films. But yeah, the handheld is definitely something that the 80s took advantage of and lasted many decades after that. Morgan, what's up? What's going on? Excited to watch this. Thank you for joining. You're watching the uncut version from the black. Yeah. So Bearded, yeah, I'm watching the uncut version of Friday the 13th, which if I'm not mistaken from my research, I think it's like 11-second difference, like a couple different, like one or two scenes that might have like a couple extra seconds. So not a huge difference from the theatrical version over those other versions that are available to stream online. Q, how many times about have you seen this film? Talking to you, want to know.
This film, the first one, I've seen it a lot, but if I had to take a rough guess, I may have seen this film maybe around 15 to 20 times, I guess. If I would take a rough guess. This is not even my favorite one, yeah. Just to kick her off, like I said, I started off with part 3, and I went back to I went back to this one. But yeah, this was still, I mean, still a real crafted horror film.
Yeah,
especially for what they had at the time.
Yeah, you got me beat, man. Like I said, I only seen this this is probably my third or fourth time seeing it.
Yeah.
And just due to the fact that the other ones obviously, again, not spoiling anything, but other ones have a presence of a certain character more than this movie does that that I gravitate towards more. But yeah, 15, 20 times. That's a good amount. Again, guys, he's a Friday the 13th fan, so definitely no surprise there. You got the. And then we got some other people in the chat here. Oh, we got Adam Ward, man. I gotta thank you, man. Thank you so much for the donation, my friend. What's good, my dudes? Friday 13th. Hope everyone is having a good time. Yes, we are, Adam. I appreciate the super chat, my friend. Glad you're able to join us tonight to celebrate this film that is celebrating its 40th anniversary, which is insane. But I really want to thank you, Adam, for the super chat, and also too for anyone, if you guys want to help the channel grow. I do have super chats and also Streamlabs, so if you guys want to help out there. But even if you don't have the finances to help out, that's perfectly fine. Just give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Like I said, support Q as well. Check out his content and follow him on all his social media accounts as well. So thank you, Mr. Adam Ward. I appreciate it, man. I really do. Thank you so much. What's everyone drinking tonight? I am drinking a cup of water. What about you, Q? You got any refreshments, any snacks on your end, my friend?
Oh yeah. I had some tea over there and there, but I left it in the other room. So right now, I'm Friday 13th dry right now. So
right. Got you, man.
I'll be drinking some good stuff. Whiskey, very nice.
Sarah says she got some whiskey. Okay. Getting rid over there.
I have to sneak off.
I have the NES version. Okay, awesome.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. The NES one. I mean, man, I remember playing the heck out of that. I should go get the Young Blue mask for you from the NES.
Nice. What's going on? Welcome. Yeah, this is Cinematics. She's from Instagram, guys. Definitely give her a follow on Instagram. She has a lot of great content. I'm glad you were able to make it tonight. I appreciate it.
Whoa.
Dirty bastard.
Dirty bastard ale.
Nice. People getting some nice drinks. That's what's up, Sarah. I have my nephew's wife at the art instructor. She was dope. Nice.
That dirty bastard ale thing. It's got that. Is that the one with what's that old bastard ale? We got that crazy devil on it.
Oh, I'm not sure. You gotta let us know. Bearded film reviews. You're drinking water. Yes, I am as well.
There's that Camp Crystal Lakeside.
There it is. Established in 1935.
That one would be
Now I can't remember this character's name, but he is the owner of the camp, right? This guy here with the axe.
Mm-hmm. Main counselor guy, owner of the camp.
And also for those that are just tuning in, if you're wondering where we are in the film, I'll bring up the timer here. We are 13 minutes and 51 seconds into the film. So again, if you don't own the film, it is available to stream on Crackle for free. If you have Amazon Prime, it's available to watch as well. And then it's on iTunes and all the other apps where you can stream movies. But Crackle and Amazon, or if you have those services, you can watch them with us. So that is our timer there, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and take some screen. We got a young Kevin Bacon there, man.
Look how young he is, Tom. Dang.
Kevin Bacon.
Like 20 years old, maybe?
Yeah. This was definitely his launching pad. This and what was that? What Tremors? Was that what was that? Is that the 90s? Or is that late 80s? The Tremors.
Yeah, Tremors. Shoot, I want to say early
Early
90s
90s.
or something. Let me
And he's
see.
always the thing I like about Kevin Bacon because you have I think of him, I think of a Johnny Depp in a Nightmare on Elm Street to kind of launch their careers. And Johnny,
Right.
he's kind of dabbled in the horror genre, but I like that Kevin Bacon's also kind of kept it within the horror genre throughout his career. You see him in a what was it, Death Sentence, I believe, film that he was in. He was in Hollow Man. So I like when these actors, even though their roots and they grow to be superstars, they kind of go back to where they started. I always like to see that.
It was rumored too that Kevin Bacon may be looking at playing like the reboot of Freddy Krueger. Like he can be Freddy,
Really.
might be Freddy.
Would you and we can kind of talking about some of the other horror iconic slashers. What's your take on Freddy Krueger, man? Are you a big fan of Freddy? Do you take him
Oh yeah.
as serious? Is he high up there in your ranks?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like shoot, he's number two. I got him right. I got him right over here. My Krueger statue holding a young baby doll or child or whatever that is. Yeah, Krueger is. He's an awesome character. Actually, his character is, what I'm saying, the mythology of Krueger and
Mm-hmm.
dreams. I don't want to spoil it for the one who haven't seen it though. But his mythology of Freddy Krueger is very deep and it's very creative from Wes Craven of what he
Mm-hmm.
created as that character to make him probably in most people's eyes numero uno slasher of the '80s. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like,
I, I agree with you, man. We were just talking about the simplicity of Jason, the mythology there and kind of the approach in the first couple early, films, and especially Michael Myers, the shape, they're very simple. And, the simplicity of it is what makes it so nice. But as you have mentioned, Wes Craven, he took the idea of a slasher, but then added his own lore with the dream sequences, with the Dream Warriors, which is my favorite in that franchise. But I would definitely say as the films progress, he got a little bit more funnier, but he always had that edge to him. And I love Freddy Krueger, man. What did you think about the remake, man? Was you a fan of the remake, Jackie? I can't remember his name right now, but yeah, were you a fan of that remake, man?
I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I didn't hate
Mm-hmm.
it as well. You know what I'm saying? I thought they had some good moments. I think the characters just weren't as strong. I
Yeah.
mean, as in some of the earlier movies, mainly like you said, Warriors and the first Nightmare on Elm Street. But
Mm-hmm.
I thought the guy who played Freddy, you know, he could have did it. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard to even. It's like Tony. It's like seeing somebody else's Tony Stark now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Robert is basically Freddy for life. you
Born,
know.
yeah, born as you got those actors that are just literally born to play a role, and it's so like odd and foreign when you see someone else, stepping in those shoes.
Unless you just completely recreate the mythology,
Mm-hmm.
kind of forget of like sort of like Nolan did with the Batman franchise.
Right,
Like you
right,
remember Val Kilmer too much because
right.
you know
Definitely, definitely.
it can be done. It still can be done. That's why people say some of these franchises, the Star Wars, things like that. Oh, we're doing this forever. Like no, give it a chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I agree.
reboot things and make it better.
So we now see the camp leaving the camp because of the storm coming on, and he's going to go into town to get some supplies. Another mistake. Can't leave the kids by themselves to run the camp.
hmm Kevin Bacon short, 1980 short, son. Genius.
Did you ever do any camp? Did your parents ever send you any camps when you were younger, man?
Send me to camp? No, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was from Detroit, so like it wasn't too much place we could camp.
No,
So
I've never been. Well, I take that back. It wasn't even a camp. It was like a daytime like visit to like a campsite when I was in
yeah, I did
like
that.
middle school, I think. But yeah, I never like stayed over summer or spring. Yeah, that wasn't. Yeah,
Checked out.
I,
Like yeah. That didn't happen too much, in our community.
yeah. Same here. Man. I'm from Chicago. We didn't really do any camping. But I was a Boy Scouts for a little bit, and even then, we didn't even do like long camping trips. It was like a night in the back of the church or something, but nothing in the woods.
Man,
Connor says, "I've only seen this one once. None of the sequels are they worth watching?" Well, I'm going to leave that question to the expert himself, Mr. Q Reviews. Connor wants to know. He's only seen this one. Are the sequels worth watching?
oh man, yeah. Well. it depends on your taste. You know what I'm saying? Do you like slash movies? You like seeing a bunch of kids, you know what I'm saying, going to a camp, getting high and fornicating and all getting murdered, you know what I'm saying, in violent ways. That's what Friday the 13th is.
Yeah.
That's what the franchise is. Now, if you want to start off with a good one, I will start off. My personal favorite is part 4, the final chapter, but it's a little deeper into the story. But if you want to start off with a good one, start off with part 3. You go to part 4. It's a bunch of other sequels after that, but part 6 is a good one. Jason Lives. That's the one Elliot, I believe, started with.
That's where I first started. Yeah.
It's just a fun drive-in time, you know. Get your
Mm.
popcorn, lay back, and and just deal with the tomfoolery. It's stupid fun, you know. These
Right.
movies are not Schindler's List or whatever.
Right. Oscar-winning, award-winning movies.
No.
Yeah.
So, not Hereditary or anything like that.
Right.
It's to get you to A to B, to get you to the next, slash or kill. And that's why, as a horror fan, that's why I look for it, because I used to do special effects as well. I just want to see the next cool special effects and things like that. You don't really grow too emotionally attached to
the characters. Yeah.
Movie. We just here for the ride. We're here for the camp, the atmosphere, the music, and the creative skills. That's what I say. So yeah, if you're interested in that thing, and you're not minded by a little bit of movies dated by the '80s, this is all '80s cheese here. It's 80s cheese stuff.
Well said, my friend.
Excellent.
And now we're about to see. So we noticed that our character that we got introduced to very early on got in the wrong car. She's decided to hitchhike, and now she's on the run. Our killer's after her. As you all can hear the score in the background again, this whole POV. They don't need to run, which I personally, going back to just running in general, Jason running, like especially in 2009's reboot, that is like the most terrifying thing to me. When you got a 300-pound monster, beast, demon entity just chasing you. I don't think that 2009 reboot gets enough credit, man. I actually really enjoyed that. Yeah,
I like that one a lot. Actually.
Me too.
And it made a lot of money too. It made a lot of money.
Yeah, it was pretty successful.
A sequel, but it never. That was strange. It never went ahead with the sequel.
Yeah, and I gotta say, man, just kind of looking at the franchise as a whole, that opening sequence of 2009 Jason is like one of my favorites in the franchise. I mean, like the brutality of had the girl hanging on the tree and getting burned alive, and again him just running up. That was a really badass Friday movie.
Yeah, because they had a camera looking up, and then Jason grabbed that thing he came with like this, and then it kind of black. I'm like, geez, that was pretty cool. Here it is. Yeet.
There we go.
There you go. See, like back then, you didn't really. You probably got more blood than I did. They kind of on that uncut version. But back then, like they're not used to seeing people's throats slit wide open.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It seems kind of cliche today, but like, no, man. We like people weren't used to seeing that. That's crazy.
Definitely, and going, you said something too, Q, and I've been meaning to bring this up to you, man. When I had you on stream last, I did some research, man, and you even brought it up so much so your background in special effects, but also your career now, man. I think you have the most coolest career job that I've heard of, man, in regards to what you do on a full-time job, man. If you care to dive into it, man, let the people know how talented you are and what you do for your 9 to 5.
Oh yeah. Well, I started off, of course, loving movies and things like that, and loving horror movies. This is one of them, Friday the 13th. So, and I was a big fan of Tom Savini, and he did all the special effects for this film. So I had to go home and make it. So like I'll go home and slip my wrist with makeup and make it like this. Slit throat, so like look, Mom. All over the place, and then she got. She was like, "Oh yeah, go ahead, going in there." So like, a couple contexts for practical effects. Me and my brother actually, we didn't have any money. We were in Detroit, and then I made myself. I don't know if you ever seen American Werewolf in London.
Oh man, I'll never forget the first time seeing that. And those practical effects were incredible.
Yeah. I was a big fan of Jack, who got ripped by the werewolf, and he kept showing up in decomposed states. So I did my whole makeup. I stayed up all night. I'm like 13 years old, just making it, dude. And then I made my brother like the Toxic Avenger or whatever. We went, and then we didn't have any money. Like we had money just to get in. We were poured in a mug. My mom got us in. We ended up winning first and second place in the whole out of everybody. It was cool. So I was up there with Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead, Clyde. Yeah, dude, it was crazy getting all the autograph. We won a bunch of toys. My mom didn't have any money at the time. We won like $500.
Wow. And when was this? How old were you when this was 13?
Yeah, I had to be like 14, 13, 14.
Wow, man. That is awesome, dude.
Yeah, I'll send you some of the pictures of it. You know,
definitely.
Yeah, that was my love for special effects. And, I end up losing all the autographs. People gave me their numbers when I got 18 or whatever. I end up losing it. Long story short, I end up doing I wanted to do CG because I like games too. I wanted to do CG, and I was of course a big fan of Jurassic Park and how the heck they do that. I always want to know how the heck they do that in the movies. So I end up, me and my friend end up teaching ourselves. 2008 in Michigan, and that whole housing thing happened, and I wasn't able to do it anymore. But I still like did it every day, and every day just kind of taught myself. Looked on YouTube and other tutorials that people gave me, and just kept teaching myself. And what I would do, I would make movie titles. I would just make some weird movie title, running around things like that. So I ended up working for this company that I work for now, and I've been a CG artist. Right now, I'm a CG lead of about 12 artists. And I can say some of the conference that I'm under because it's like the NDA or whatever. But Thrones though, that was fun. We got to I got to do some CG on Game of Thrones.
Background. What is it? Particular episodes that we can look out for some of your work, or was it just kind of a?
Yeah. You might want to check out some, Battle of the Bastards, things like that.
One of my favorite episodes, man.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I didn't know what we was doing. We just looking and like, things like that. Yeah. I worked on some Super Bowl commercials, and then it's just, it's just fun to do. I never really could imagine I taught myself and I could be working on things like that. It all came from film. So yeah.
That is awesome, man. I like I said, I want to highlight that, man, because I don't think enough people know how awesome of like you guys can see, this guy has great input on films, and especially this franchise. When we get back here in a big group, seeing some bunch of these kids freaking out over a little garden snake. But Q, man, that is awesome, dude. Like I said, I think I can't remember. I heard you bringing up in one of your reviews, and I think I saw your interview that you had with what's his name, Swag Entertainment or Swag Master Swag. I know he interviewed you a couple weeks ago, and when you brought that up, I'm like, what? Q. First, I know you was you said you mentioned you were in Batman vs Superman and all your other things you worked on, man. That's just incredible, man. So again, guys, show this man some support on his channel, because this guy has seen it all, been behind the scenes, met some of our favorite celebrities. And like I said, you guys can see this man has a lot of great energy. So that's awesome, man.
I appreciate it too. Not to mention my intro to my channel got the most cartoonish face of all time.
I love it, man. I love it. And also, if you guys want to have a good laugh, a lot of Q skits are like hands down some of the funniest stuff I've seen on YouTube. The guy is so creative, man.
Thank you.
No problem, man.
What's this dude got on, yo? Diaper.
Again, for everyone at home, we bring up the timer here. So again, if you're joining in, we are right at the 28-minute mark, less than a half hour into the film of Friday the 13th. Again, this is celebrating its 40th anniversary. And we are watching it, breaking it all down, talking about some of our favorite films in the franchise here in a bit. But again, guys, go ahead and queue up your copies if you're just tuning in on Friday the 13th.
T1000 outfit on.
You're right. Some of these comments, I know some people were mentioning I think it was Bearded had started the conversation regarding the kind of his preference in regards to the slashers. Let me bring up this comment here. I think he had mentioned his order. Bearded film review said it's for him it's Jason, Michael, then Freddy. And then for you, if I'm not mistaken, Q, you said it was Jason, Freddy, and then would you say Michael, or is there someone else?
I go Michael.
Michael is the top three?
Yep. I get the top three.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got Leatherface.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of terrifying.
He is. And that's another reboot, too, that was 2003 with Jessica Alba. I really like that reboot, too. That was a really good reboot.
Was that Bill?
Jessica Biel? Yeah, Jessica Biel in that one.
Yeah. she was
That was a
great.
pretty brutal film.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That was a real good one. That was one of my favorite reboots that they made. I thought that was very well done.
Mm-hmm. And then
Mm-hmm.
Adam Moore says his is Jason, or I'm sorry, Michael, Freddy, Jason. And actually, to that point, Adam, I'm kind of in the same boat with you, man. Michael, Freddy, and Jason, for me, they're all great. They're all iconic in their own ways. But for me, Michael Myers, again, going back to 78 Halloween, which is personally my favorite horror film of all time. Again, it's just the simplicity of it. You had mentioned earlier, Q, the whole stalker approach to the film. Laurie, Laurie's character, one of my favorite final girls, and just a great character in general. But I'm a big fan of what John Carpenter did with that 78 version. But to your point with Freddy, I love Freddy. I think he's hilarious, but he's also extremely terrifying. And like you said, the mythology and the opposite of the simplicity of Halloween and Friday 13th, Wes Craven bringing in the mythology, the lore. And it could have got complicated, but it was just so intriguing. And again, that is a fearful thing. Our dreams is our most vulnerable state when you're asleep. So I love Freddy, and of course Jason with his brutality.
Out of these three, I asked you a question. What's the most realistic movie? Is it the first Halloween, the first Nightmare on Elm Street, or the first Friday the 13th?
For me, I got to go with Halloween, just simply for the fact that, again, going back to 78 Halloween, it was just matter of fact. It wasn't any vendetta. It wasn't any revenge. It was just a psycho on a loose who just was a shape, who was a figure, who was just on a mission. If you was in his way, you were dead. So I just love that. And again, those sequels obviously kind of get a little crazy with, the relations to Laurie, brother and sister relationship, and, the season on the witch, and then the curse of Michael Myers, the cult. So a lot of these franchises, unfortunately, when they kind of outdo its stay, it kind of gets a little crazy and ridiculous. But for me, I think the Michael Myers and that whole approach is one of my favorites in regards to intros.
I can't disagree with you. I mean, that whole setting, Halloween, everybody goes to Halloween every year, and you put this in this setting with this babysitter, and it's ultra just. They didn't even explain them too much.
Exactly, that's what I love about it.
And it's no explanation why he's even chasing Laurie down so much.
Right.
She just is, and that's kind of terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And that is really the new dawn of the slasher.
Yeah.
It's Halloween. I mean, it just is what it is. If people say, it's like this is and that better, but Halloween new age slasher that really started all the tropes and started all things like that. It was Halloween. Friday 13th, took the same ideas and made a lot of money, a franchise, but they still use the same tropes and things, and that's what we kind of make fun of in horror movies today. That's where it all started from.
Yeah, man, and it's kind of crazy. I was trying to think earlier today, and help me out, few in regards to when was the last good slasher film that we got?
Ooh.
Not because I love what we're getting now with the psychological horror, whether it be a Jordan Peele or Ari Aster from Midsummer or Hereditary, or even Robert Eggers from The Witch, or The Lighthouse, or Jennifer Kent from The Babadook, or Nightingale. But slasher wise, am I missing something? I can't think of a good slasher in a while.
Yeah, I got a good one for you. I think it's called. It's about these kids that go to this haunted house, and it's a killer in there. I think it's called Haunted. I was trying to look it up right quick, but it might be called Haunted.
I think I saw that. I saw some people review it and talked about it. It's in the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think it might have been last year. Yeah, I think it might have been last year. I think Eli Roth produced it. From Eli Roth from the torture.
Torture porn era of horror. Yeah. Okay, here it is. Haunted came out in, like you said, September 2019. Is that available? Is it streaming or?
I got it on Shudder. I know it's available on streaming for free if you got Shudder. I think Shudder's $5 or something like that, but I don't know where else you can watch it. You can probably stream it from somewhere to pay like $3.99 or whatever. But that was a really good slasher. It's in the same. This guy was a big fan of the slashers from the 80s and things like that, and he actually a very coherent, terrifying film. Kids going to a haunted house. It happens to be real. You put the pieces together though, but it was fire, bro. I was like, dang.
Well, check that out. Because like I said, I can't think of. At first, I thought you was gonna bring up that one movie when they went to the haunt. They went to like a theme park, and it was a killer chasing them. I can't think of the name of that.
Hellfest.
Hellfest, man. I wasn't a fan. I was not a fan of that film at all. No disrespect to anyone that liked it, but I was not impressed.
I was bad, bro.
I'm looking at kind of the last. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What was that?
No, yeah, I seen Hellfest, and then like a little time after that, I seen Haunted. Like, yeah, it's the same concept, but like this is what it's supposed to be. Like, the Haunted, Hellfest was trash. I mean, yeah, like no disrespect, people like it, but I was like, that was bored.
Yeah, it wasn't a crazy
film, like, no crazy, It's just. Yeah.
And people in the chat, let me know some of your favorite slashers. I don't know why this totally slipped my mind. I don't know. It feels like it was so long ago, but even 2018 was Halloween, the reboot. That was Did you like the reboot of the Halloween that we got a couple years ago?
Yeah, I thought it was straight. I thought it was great. I think I gave it a really good review on my channel. I think I was just so happy to see Michael Myers.
See him back, yeah. The shape and how they approached it, and obviously Laurie, she was back. She already made 3 appearances since her in the original, but this was like the Laurie that I was looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought I had minor issues with it. But overall, they did good. I did like the killing spree through Haddonfield. I did like that. I thought that was really
that shot, that one take. That was so awesome. I wasn't, like you said, it was some flaws in the film, like the doctor being like he wants to be Michael now. It's kind of not that great of a storyline. But I'm looking forward to Halloween Kills. Hopefully that keeps its release date later this year in October, and Halloween ends. I'm looking forward to see what they do with that.
They're saying this new one, the Halloween Kills, it's supposed to be the most brutal and gory Halloween.
Yeah, man, I'm reading that too. Yeah, saying that this is going to be like Halloween #78 on steroids, and Michael's just going to be wreaking havoc, which I'm all about.
Do you like him like more subtle when you put the knife in and look? Yeah,
man. I'm looking at a couple other films too. I guess Happy Death Day is considered a slasher film. I guess you can call it that. I wasn't a fan of the second one. I just thought that whole time travel stuff just got a little convoluted. But yeah, Happy Death Day in 2017 was good. I guess you can slasher.
I got a couple ones on. You seen Creep on Netflix?
Is that that's because they made 2 of them, right? It's the guy who like befriends the guy and tells him that he's dying and he wants him to record his final day for his unborn son. Is that one? Yeah, that one. And the second one too, with the girl who was like just as crazy as he was. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good call there. I'm looking at the list here. The Babysitter on Netflix. I actually like that film. That was a McGee film with Samara Weaving, and they had like a bunch of like Instagram famous people like King Botch and some other people. I actually like that film. The Terrifier. Did you see The Terrifier, man? 2016, The Terrifier. That gross ass, nasty ass film, dude. Like, people I know, and again, no disrespect to people that type of horror, that type of that doesn't work for me. That was just
over the top,
crazy, like crazy, man.
Yeah, it was a little much.
like I said, I know there's a fandom for that, and I respect them for that. But that to me is just like, is the director okay? Does someone need to check this guy's computer to see, how he came up with these ideas? But I think they're supposed to be making a Terrifier 2, but yeah, that's not my type of horror in regards to. That's just too much, too over the top for me.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I seen it. But I don't watch it too much. I thought they're pushing it. They're pushing the violence in there.
Pushing it, man. I mean, I'm just thinking of some of those scenes now, and I don't even want to talk about that film. Crazy. What else have we got in the last 5 or 6 years? The Strangers Prey at Night, the sequel to The Strangers, which was actually a good film. But did you see the sequel to The Strangers?
Yeah, the sequel to The Strangers Prey at Night. Yeah, I seen that.
Did you like it?
I don't remembering it too much. I remember them driving and running a lot.
Yeah, that's essentially the plot. Yeah, and I think the only thing I remember from that film, it was a really cool scene. The kid when he's running around the pool, that seems pretty intense. That's like the only thing I remember from that movie.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
But just kind of looking at the list, man, yeah, we don't get the slashers as often as we did, obviously in the 80s and in the 90s with Wes Craven and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if this is going to be a resurgence. I hope that, Halloween was so successful in 2018 and obviously spawning into 2 sequels, but I hope that we can get back into the slasher genre because it's something I like when it's done well. and
Yeah, I mean,
has fun.
sporadically, like Halloween, you get your couple good ones here and there. I don't think it
Mm-hmm.
reign king like it did in the '80s anymore. I think that
Right.
time might be gone, but I think you're still going to get good slashers. And they're always going to be around. Just zombie movies. I mean, we haven't had a zombie movie in a long time.
Long time, and not even that, like a good zombie film. Because I know I used to be really big into the Walking Dead universe until it started to get a little bit. I heard, I don't know if you've been following with Walking Dead, but I heard it's been getting. Were you a fan, I guess, initially of Walking Dead? And you still
Like
follow it?
I got like all Walking Dead like seasons 1 through 4 action figures just all lined up against the wall. Dude, I was a huge Walking Dead fan. Huge, huge. I got
Mm-hmm.
autographed pictures of Daryl and what Scott Gimble, not Scott Gimble, Herschel that passed away. Man,
Yeah.
Comic Cons and things like that. Man, I was a huge fan of Walking Dead. Yeah, I was man. Greg Nicotero, which is the
Craig
Spawn.
Nicotero is awesome, man. I
Yeah,
love his approach to
he's Tom.
VFX and practical effects.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. He started under Tom Savini. Yep. And then he
Makes
made
sense. Makes sense.
he made Creep Show. He was like a kid out of college. He made Creep Show, and then just followed Tom Savini around. Of course, to now, of course, he's the king, Craig Nicotero. So I was a huge
Mm-hmm.
fan, man.
Now
Some of my
I'm hearing you saying I was a huge fan. Where did it go wrong from you, my friend? When did you have to say I gotta get off this boat?
yeah. When I started to leave the boat, man, when it was just like a whole that after they killed Glenn, I thought that was an amazing episode. I'm
Oh
sorry,
yeah, yeah. No, I'm right there with you, man.
I thought that was so powerful to do on television. Like y'all can't do this and that's about
Mm-hmm.
and y'all do this,
Mm-hmm.
smash his brains in on national TV, son. People
Yeah.
were messed up. So that was what after that I was like, oh, I'm really all in. And then the whole 2 seasons it was just about like kind of what's his name with the bat.
Negan.
Yeah, man, Negan. It was just like
Mm-hmm.
Negan doing this and people. It just kind of just was
Kind
going.
of it became the same. Yeah, it just became repetitive. But I have heard, and before we even go on more, this is actually coming up soon. Kevin Bacon, really good, awesome kill here. But yeah, it just got repetitive to me. But I've heard though, for those that are stuck around, that they're getting back to the old kind of first couple seasons of Walking Dead and the new showrunner. Because I believe Scott Gimble is no longer like the showrunner of the show; he's just kind of an executive producer now. But I heard that they're kind of getting back to the old school ways and. Really interested to see what they do with Andrew Lincoln's character, Rick Grimes. I know he's supposed to get like a movie, and Michonne's supposed to get a movie. So I don't know. We'll see, man. But yeah, I was right there with you, man. I was a huge
Yeah, I left
Walking Dead fan.
when Rick got picked up by the garbage people. Yep, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
By
nah,
garbage people.
I'm out.
I'm out. See you later.
So,
All right, let's see what we got here in the chat. So yeah, guys, this is a really, you were talking about earlier, this practical effects and this really cool kill. This one was pretty brutal.
kill.
And again, for all those that are at home, we are bringing up the timer here. We're right at the 42-minute mark. 42 minutes and 35, 36, 38, 39, 40 seconds into the film. So definitely cue it up so you guys can see Kevin Bacon get taken out, guys, in a pretty brutal way. Oh man, that through the throat.
Body right there with the neck. You got his
Oh
under
man,
there.
that's a good one, man. That's a good one.
There was a lot of blood there. And I guess he was on it with a straw.
All right.
So like the guy that's trying to the blood was just like coming up and it's coming straight down in his face and all that. It was just kind of squirted like that and they kept it. So it turned out great.
Go back to
The
the
atmosphere was fun.
Definitely, like you said, man. Like you said, personal experience. Your son, whenever he goes to a camp, it's like when you go to the beach or go to the ocean. Jaws. Is a shark gonna get me? It's films like this that kind of create those to get your hair and your arms up.
Yeah, I feel him on that. I prefer Evil Dead. I love Evil Dead too. Yeah, that's another one. Sam Raimi. He's from Michigan too. I used to make sandwiches at Whole Foods when they used to come into Whole Foods. I used to make these sandwiches.
Wow, no, that's for real. That's a classic one. Evil Dead, and Ash, and going back to another reboot that didn't get enough love. I think 2013's Evil Dead, man, is a good one.
I love that one.
You talk about blood. I think I've never seen so much blood except for maybe It Chapter 2 with the Betsy bathroom. But that film was brutal.
Yeah, that was a great horror movie. That director is fired too. He made another film after that.
Don't Breathe.
Oh, Don't Breathe. Yeah. That was a really good one too. That dude is a great director, dude.
Something Javier's. I know he's a Spanish director. I can't think of his name right now. Javier's or something like that. But yeah, he's a great director. And apparently they're supposed to be making a sequel to Don't Breathe, which I think has been kind of stalled a little bit. But I would love to see what they do with that. And then also, I've been waiting for the follow up to the 2013's Evil Dead with getting Mia's character and obviously Ash. Making a crossover will be great, but that's another. There's some pretty good reboots. Again, we talked about 2018's Halloween, 2009 Friday 13th. Freddy's was okay, had its moments, but those are definitely we talked about 2003's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So you get some good reboots every now and then.
Yeah. That, like you said, that Evil Dead one is a lot. It's crazy. It's a lot of fun. A lot of good fun. Special effects and blood and razor blades.
Yeah. And Sam Raimi, as you had mentioned, Sam Raimi comes from that school of practical effects. Not relying on VFX and CGI for some of those close up. So he's definitely that old school methods.
Yeah, it's a tool. If you use that tool correctly, and I mean, it inspired people don't understand why 1917 won best visual effects over Endgame. Well,
right.
Special effects in 1917.
Yeah, man.
You don't know all that is not real. You know.
Right.
Yeah. You got it's all a tool on how you use it. It's a strong axe.
We got United bringing up Saw. I used to be a big Saw franchise fan, man. Was you ever big into the Saw before it got a little bit crazy?
Yeah. That first movie blew my mind. That was the first time I really didn't see that and into that one. And I left the theater, kind of traumatized like that.
Yeah, man.
Bro.
James Wan and Lee Wanell. I love Saw. And I saw every Halloween. I was in the theater every year, man, seeing Saw 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. That was good. I was yeet.
Got to get it.
Just to catch it to the face. I'm really disappointed that the new Saw got pushed back.
Yeah, man, with Chris Rock and Sam Jack, and was that next May, right? They pushed it back a whole year.
Yeah, I really wanted to see that, man. I was really excited. I'm really excited for the more, these African American driven horror movies. It makes me excited when I see that new Candyman.
Candyman. We're gonna, I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes. I got a couple games I want to play, and Candyman's in that mix. Yeah, man, I can't wait to see what they do with this new interpretation, a reboot, reimagining the Candyman. I'm a big Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. I think he's a really great actor.
I'm loving Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
Yeah, man.
I really loved him as Dr. Manhattan. Even that movie that wasn't so great on Netflix, the gangster movie, but I still enjoyed his performance in it.
Oh yeah, I wasn't. I was wanting so much more for that film. All day and the night. Yeah, Stunner.
Yeah, at least in it, huh?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because that trailer was great, man. And as you had mentioned, Jordan Peele, man, I love, as you had mentioned, just, those comedic background actors, directors coming into horror. I think of John Krasinski from A Quiet Place and how they just kind of translate, they make us laugh, but they got some dark sides to them, and it shows in the film.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, both those, they really excited me when they came out of blue, like you said, with Quiet Place and Us and Get Out, man. Man, they packing some heat in the horror department, bro.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I know we really haven't been. We talked a little bit about the slasher film not being as popular as it was back in the 80s and 90s, but what we do have, I've been a fan of. More of the thriller of a Quiet Place, the psychological aspect of a Hereditary. So I mean, the horror is pretty strong right now. We don't really get a lot of stinkers. Unless you watch some of the stuff on Netflix, some of their horror films kind of hit or miss. But as far as theatrical movies go, we got some pretty good movies in the last 5 or 6 years. Yeah, Chris mentions the first Halloween terrified him as a kid so much that I didn't warm up to horror until I was in my mid-20s. Yeah, that's what those films can do to you, man. especially when you see them at a young age. Bearded Reviews says, Adam, I'm with you. Horror is my genre. Yeah, I think we can all agree, man. For me too. I think horror, when it comes to action, suspense, well, I don't know. I might take that back. Sci-fi and horror are like kind of right there with me because I love a good sci-fi film, but horror is definitely one of my favorite genres. Just again, it invokes an emotion out of you, whether it's being afraid, as you just mentioned, it kind of sticks with you when you don't want to go to camps, you don't want to go in the water like Jaws. So it's one of my favorite genres, man. And it's your number one genre, right? Q, as far as horror goes?
Actually, rom-coms is my favorite,
Really?
I'm just kidding.
I always say, okay, I didn't know that was going there. I'm like, okay, respect.
No, horror. I just kidding. I do like a good rom-com though. It's fine. Yeah, but horror is definitely my favorite genre.
Nice.
Like, what this dude got a Jason mask and bloody
Hey. Respect. But Tara mentions there that she actually met Taylor Bill. That's actually awesome. She said he's great. He wasn't happy my kids hadn't seen the Saws yet. Yeah, I don't think kids at a certain age, there's definitely a certain level that they gotta wait to see Saw. I used to always call my friends and be like, live or die, make your choice. I used to always play around with the Saw stuff. Do you want to play a game?
Dang, that's like dead on.
Dude, I'm telling you, I used to be a huge Saw fan. Every year I used to watch Saw, man. And I'm like you said, I'm excited to see what they do with this new one. Chris says, love The Lighthouse. Geez, what a great movie. Yeah, man. Did you get a chance to see Robert Eggers' Lighthouse last year, too?
Yeah. You're not fond of me, lobster?
Why did you spill the beans? Yeah, man. I saw that at the theater. Did you get a chance to see that at the theater?
No, I saw it here. I bought it on Blu-ray.
On Blu-ray, gotcha.
Yeah, here. You know what? That movie's so crazy. I think I love it though.
Yeah, I love it. It actually made, going back to my top 10 of 2019, it made my top 10 last year. It was like my number 8 favorite film last year. I was just it was one of those theatrical experiences that was just great. The aspect ratio, the tension, the suspense. Again, I actually wasn't the biggest fan of The Witch from Robert Eggers. I appreciate the filmmaking aspect, but I just wasn't the biggest fan of the actual film. But I love The Lighthouse, man. It's a really well done film. And Robert Pattinson, man, I'm excited to see him as the Batman. Obviously, William Dafoe is a legend. But
he murdered that all the time. No way.
Man.
I was like, how did he not get nominated for an Academy Award? I mean,
man.
I don't know.
We know the academies do not respect horror, man. Like in the last, I think of, Hereditary with Toni Collette's performance. I think of Peter Luangu and Us, her playing those dual roles. I mean, it's just a list of. I even go as far as saying Elizabeth Moss earlier this year in Invisible Man. Man, I thought her performance in that movie made that movie for me. Like I really enjoyed her Invisible Man. I thought her performance was great. But yeah, like you said, the Oscars don't really show them any love.
Yeah, they don't show horror love too much. Even with Kubrick's Shining and things like that.
Yeah. And Chris says there is a terrible series on Netflix called Slasher. I mean, if you call it Slasher, they gotta tell you something, man. It's too on the nose for me. But speaking of Netflix, I don't know why this slipped my mind. This isn't really Slasher, but just horror in general, man. Can you tell me you saw The Haunting on Hill House a couple years ago? Mike Flanagan, that is one of my favorite pieces of anything horror, whether it be TV, movies. That show was so good.
So good, bro.
So good.
So good. I couldn't even believe it was that good. And it was terrifying, bro. I was scared.
One of the best jump scares I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
when I can't think of the daughter's name, but the broke neck daughter, when she jumped out of the back seat. That is a fan. Like anyone in the chat now, if you guys are looking for recommendations from me and Q, and we'll also talk about recommendations a little bit later, but in particularly on the streaming platform, the Haunted House on the Hill is one of the best pieces of horror by Mike Flanagan. Incredible cast, incredible story, terrifying, and I can't wait. I hope that the second season, which I know is like kind of an anthology series, so it's not going to tie into the first season, but I hope that we get that second season this year. This year.
Yeah. It was so good. I couldn't even believe it was that good. I was just and everything. The production value, the atmosphere that they set, the jump scares. And people complain about jump scares, but it would literally make you jump out of your seat.
Man.
And
Definitely can't recommend that enough.
just like the Invisible Man, like you said, yeah, like remember how the Invisible Man just panned over it and they really show, but you in your mind, you're thinking like
Yep.
over there.
Yep.
Same thing that Hill House does, you know what I'm saying? Where
Yep.
just a couple little thumbs up, you know what I'm saying? Check that one out.
I would definitely, when I mentioned earlier, kind of the reemergence of horror and being in the pop culture. When I mentioned Jordan Peele, Ari Aster, Robert Eggers, Jennifer Kent, I got to put Mike Flanagan, James Wan. I got to put those. Those are like kind of my top tier directors right now. And Mike Flanagan, man, I don't know if you got a chance to, or not get a chance, but I don't know if you were a big fan of Doctor Sleep last year. I was a big fan of that as well.
Last year. I loved it. I
Yeah.
did. Yeah. I loved the second time I watched it, I was fine and stuff with it.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, yeah. I really like that sequence of Shining. That was a hard task to do. Pick up things that Stephen King's book and also
Yeah.
stay true to the film.
The
He
Kubrick,
somehow
yeah.
managed to come up with something new at the same
Yep.
time. This is how balanced all that out and came out with an excellent film, I thought.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head, man. Like that. That was a really hard task for him to be able to, like you said, not only show love and respect to the novel that Stephen King created, the sequel to The Shining, but also time. So the task at hand, he had to tie in the events from the first novel, then show respects to the actual novel, Doctor Sleep, and then also show appreciation to and follow up from the actual motion picture of The Shining from Stanley Kubrick. Mike Flanagan does not get enough credit for what he was able to do with Doctor Sleep, in my opinion.
And make Stephen King happy because
Exactly, which is not only Stephen King hates, the Shining from Kubrick. But some other suggestions here. Tara mentions Your Next was a good invite. Yeah, Your Next is one of my favorites. 2011, Your Next was a really fun slasher film, and one of my favorite Final Girls as well. Erin in that movie was so badass. I love Your Next. It's a good call out, Tara. Yeah, people talking about the Terrifier. Yeah, the Terrifier is great. Hey, Bearded Reviews again. Respect, my friend. I give the film props for doing the most, if that's the category. Like if the most is here, the Terrifier is like they are right above that. I mean, they just did a lot in that film. But I'm glad you like the Bearded film reviews. Adam mentions The Guest. That's a really good film. That's my man from Legion, Stephen. Man, he was also Beauty and the Beast. Why is his name slipping me? But yeah, The Guest is a really good film too. I think
yes, too. He was firing there.
is that Mike Flanagan too? The Guest.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember who directed that, but no, that was a really good film as well. I can't remember. 2014. Yeah.
I thought Ready or Not was fun last year.
Did you like Ready or Not?
What with the weaving girl?
Mm-hmm. Samara Weaving. Did you a fan of that?
I thought it was fun little. I thought it was fun little ride.
Yeah. No, same here.
It's hard to do those.
That it was 2014. The guest was Adam Wingard, who's done some pretty good films in the last couple of years. Like he did, I've totally forgot he did Your Next in 2011, which I'm a big fan of in the guest. And then I believe he did he's doing the Godzilla versus Kong, which I love too. That Hollywood is starting to kind of cherry pick these horror directors to make these big blockbuster films. Like I think of again James Wan going over to Aquaman. I think of Adam Wingard going to Kong versus Godzilla, or even what's the guy that made Lights Out? David F. Sandberg from Annabelle Creation and Lights Out. Him going to Shazam. So I love that these big movies are like, hey, we need to bring, because one of the things that they probably like about those directors is they have these small budgets and they're able to make a lot of movies with those small budgets. So they like to probably bring that mindset to the big blockbuster film. So I love that transition kind of happening.
You can do with Kong versus Godzilla. That's a easy one to do.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel about it, Q. 2014 Godzilla, Kong, Skull Island, and then you got last year's, which I thought was a beautiful film, Monsters, King of Monsters. But what do you think about the franchise, man? Are you a fan of what they've been doing?
That's true, man. You got big creatures destroying cities and fighting. I've been a fan of that since I was a child. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
14 Godzilla. I'm the one actually really like that movie. You know what I'm saying? Like they said, you didn't see Godzilla too much. When he came, he was wrecking shop, and that's those CG just looked incredible.
That was amazing. Yeah.
Like that. I really like that. Kong Skull Island is so much fun. It's just fun. It's just I just like seeing Kong fight creatures. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Special effects was fun. I think they had too many characters or whatever, but
Yeah, that's been my biggest fault with this franchise. Is just like the human storylines are just kind of flat. And they just need to bring, focus on the monsters, the kaiju fighting. That's what I'm coming to see.
I come here to see the kaiju fights, and then like in that last one, King of Monsters, there was some fights, but it wasn't really no good ones. Good. I thought they could have showed up creatures more in the daylight, him going toe to toe. See this little thing go down, but I know it's highly expensive to have creatures fighting on screen for 7 minutes straight.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That is true.
It's highly.
Yep. So for all those that are at home, again, if you're just tuning in, or if you're wondering where we are in the film, we just hit the hour mark. We got our main kind of final girl, Alice, and her friend, kind of seeing that their friends are missing. Where could they be? So now, kind of the climax of the film is kind of ratcheting up in this third act. So again, we were just talking about Godzilla 2014, them not showing the Godzilla in this film, again, going back to Psycho, going back to Halloween, going to this film, holding back, right? Having that restraint to not show you the killer, but you don't know who the killer is, what they look like, why they're doing what they're doing. Again, this is one of the, going to the 80s, man, they kind of started it off. So Adam, Bearded Reviews brought up Strangers, one of his favorites. The first Strangers was a really good film. Really good film. The Hostel movies were bloody. Yeah, Hostel movies. Those are another, again, quote unquote horror porn. Hostel, and obviously the Saw follow-up Saws. It was all just about the gore. Like, how gross can we get? How crazy can we get with the gore aspect? So yeah, Hostel was pretty crazy. Yeah, Hellfest. Yeah, couldn't get into Hellfest. Yeah. We're not fans of Hellfest either, Adam. Tony Todd. I think he's supposed to be back in Halloween, Candyman. I think he was supposed to be making a cameo. I think even that one shot when Yaya's walking past the truck, you can kind of see Tony Todd, the younger version of him.
Mm-hmm. Talk about dude. Tony Todd got that great voice.
Oh yeah, man. He's a legend. One of the greatest. Love the newest Halloween. I know people had their issues with it, but no, I think me and you both can agree with you, Chris. We're both fans of the Halloween. It has its its flaws, but I really enjoyed 2018 Halloween, and I'm excited to see what they do with the sequel.
Mm-hmm. Didn't Halloween start off with like the pumpkin coming back to life, or was it it was like
the opening shot?
Yeah, I kind of like that opening.
That was pretty dope. That was pretty dope for sure.
You got me that.
Yeah, man. One of my favorite scores too. I love that. Down confident score. Saw, The Evil Dead. We got Origins of Evil, The Omen, Scream, and Don't Breathe is United's kind of top tier. That's awesome, man. Ouija, Origin of Evil. That was a pretty good follow up. I didn't really like the first Ouija film, but the second one was pretty good. Yeah, the second Annabelle was a lot better than the. I actually like the last Annabelle too. Annabelle Comes Home with the little girl from Haunting on Hill House was on that. What's her name? McKenna Grace. I like them better.
Like they went in the basement and everything was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They didn't even have a werewolf at a point.
Yeah, and that was because with all those Conjuring movies, they always kind of plant the seeds for future things, and I thought that was supposed to be like the main thing for the third Conjuring was like a werewolf storyline, but apparently they went a different route. I love the subtitle for the next Conjuring. I believe it's called Conjuring 3: The Devil Made Me Do It. And it's supposed to be based off of like someone that's on trial for murder and claiming that they were possessed. So I'm really interested to see what they do with that one. So we got David in the chat. What's going on, David from Flicks Talk? How you doing? Let's see, what was it at? I'll catch up here. Welcome there. I think it's called High Tension. That sounds familiar. Is that a ring a bell to you? High Tension?
Oh yeah, High Tension. I think that's that was a foreign
film. That's not the one with when she was trapped in the parking lot. Was it? Am I thinking of something else? High Tension. That sounds familiar.
Young famous killer in his house though, but they got this one scene where this dude gets decapitated by a bookshelf. It's pretty amazing though. It's super violent. Like
I don't think I've seen it. Is it a foreign film, like a French film, 2003, 2003?
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, highly violent. It's super violent, like Terrifier.
Alone in the Dark is a good one. Goosebumps. Train to Busan, 2016. Train to Busan. That's a good. We were talking about zombie films earlier. Oh, you didn't see Train to Busan?
I've never seen that one.
Oh man, let me make sure it's still on Netflix. I mean, that is one of my favorite horror films, or one of my favorite zombie horror films of all time. Like no lie, man. It's a Korean zombie film, and it is incredible. Like incredible. I'm not exaggerating, man. One of my favorite. Yeah, still, yeah. When you get a chance, Q, Netflix, Train to Busan, man. 2016, Train to Busan, and the sequel's coming out later this year. Peninsula, Train to Peninsula. So I would highly recommend that Q if you get a chance, man. That's a really great horror zombie film.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm hyped. I ain't seen a good zombie film in a while. He's saying it's fire. I'll check it out.
Girl with All the Gifts. I think that was a Netflix film. I didn't get a chance. Did you see that one, Q? Girl with All the Gifts.
Girl with All the Gifts. It's pretty good. It's not bad at all. Yeah. It's pretty solid. You know, this girl zombie, but she kind of hold the cure. I ain't gonna spoil it. You know, it was good. It was good.
Check that out. Sure. And then Terry, yeah, Train to Busan was great. Second one was coming. Yeah, that's the Peninsula one. Yeah, Peninsula is the second one. Yeah, Q, like I said, man, that's definitely something I recommend, man. That's a really good zombie film. And like intense, very intense. Goosebumps, yeah, we all remember Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark back in the day. Ash versus Evil Dead. Cool show. Yeah, I didn't get a chance. Did you ever get a chance to check out Bruce Campbell and Ash versus Evil Dead?
Ash versus Evil Dead is fun. Yeah, it got some fun.
Like 3 seasons, right?
Yeah, I got about 3 seasons. It's kind of fun. You know, I'm more of the Evil Dead 2 guy. You know what I'm saying? Like Dead by Dawn, like when they don't really treat the creatures as a joke. Like they might do stuff, but like these things ain't really like funny. You know, like But what happens to them? You know, they get their heads cut off and like zany things happen. But like they'll never treat the creatures as comedic.
Like seriously, they should.
Yeah, they do treat them seriously. Like,
okay, gotcha.
You know, they're like Deadeye, what they call it, like Dead by Dawn. Like these are terrible.
Gotcha.
Some kind of things may happen to them or the characters in the movie, just like Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters, most of the creatures in the original Ghostbusters, they were like gods and demons. And really serious subject matter. You know, the Ghostbusters. You know, they supply the comedy, and that's really, I think, what make those type of films work. So horror comedy is a tricky thing to do. Shaun of the Dead is a horror movie. I mean, the zombies are terrifying, but that they play it out and they come up with comedic things to do. Because the story of Shaun of the Dead is kind of tragic. His best friend died, his mom died. It's just like, think about it. So, yeah.
No, man, you're 100% right, man. That is a very hard line to balance and to make sure you don't dive too into the comedy or too into the horror. It's a very, very tough thing to balance. And yeah, you're totally right. Shaun of the Dead did was great at doing that for sure. We got Tara mentioned Sam Raimi, Doctor Strange will hopefully be great. I don't think it'll hopefully be great. I think it will be great. Like that is probably one of my favorite. That's one of, if not my favorite, my most anticipated film in the Phase 4 of MCU is obviously bringing in. I love Scott Derrickson. I love, speaking of horror films, Sinister. I wasn't a fan of Sinister 2, but I liked the first Sinister. I was sad to see him go, but I'm really excited they replaced him with, a legend like Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi gonna take it, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Junk that Doctor.
I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna pass out if they bring in Tobey Maguire. If they find a way to bring him into some type of portal and have some alternate multiverse, and we get an appearance from Tobey Maguire, I would pass out at the theater. No lie.
That may happen. Man,
that would be crazy.
That was some big jump.
Yeah, Candyman looks great. Theater film. Yeah, we're gonna we got another. We got another 24 minutes. I'm gonna probably leave. It's a game that I want to play with you and PURP Minor, which again, sorry he wasn't able to make it tonight, guys. Hopefully he's doing okay. But it's a game I want to play with you and obviously with you guys. But I'm gonna play a couple of different games. One's called Jason Versus. You guys will see what that's about, and then also just kind of a ranking of the final girls in some of these horror movies that we love. So I got a game that we're going to play a little bit later that does involve Candyman. Yeah, they talk about Saw, Chris Rock. I wonder what they're going to do with that Saw movie, man. Because the trailer had its, its tropes for, making you see that there's a Saw movie, but it kind of was a little, I don't want to say a parody, but like the, Sam Jackson line, and kind of. I wonder what they're going to do with that film.
I don't know. I'm very curious though. I'm very curious. Like, is it going to be a joke on Saw?
Right.
I can't make it a joke.
Right.
I just don't know what to quite think. I only seen it only came out with the one trailer. Right?
Mm-hmm. Because we probably get another theater. We got a lot of people like us who are looking forward to Candyman, man. I think they got pushed back to September, I want to say.
Yeah. I think it got pushed back to around September.
If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be September. Going to be, if everything plays out and we get movies at the theater, I think it's going to be Candyman in September, Quiet Place Part 2, and there was one other horror film that's supposed to be dropped in September that I'm looking forward to. So, man, what's your thoughts, Q, on this, COVID-19 and the movie theaters, and I know Christopher Nolan wants Tenet to come out next or in July. What you think, man? We don't get any of these films this year, or is everything gonna get postponed in 2021?
I don't know. Nolan trying it, ain't he? He trying it early. He want to be the first one for Tenet to get people back in theaters. If he come out with Tenet in July, I'll be there.
You'll be there, mask and everything, ready to go. Social distancing.
Yeah. I'll see it. You know what I'm saying? They brought out one woman and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever movies go back, I'll probably go back and see them.
Right.
But it's the rest of the general public ready to go back.
Yeah, that's the big thing, man. Like, that's my thing. I love Chris Nolan, man, but I think if they drop that film, in less than 2 months, man, that movie might take a big L financially speaking. I think it's going to be great, but I think from the finances, man, I don't think that film's going to make as much as it could if there's if everything was going on.
You gonna go see it? If it come out in July, would you go into the theater, sit down and watch Tenet on an IMAX screen, Christopher Nolan?
I mean, obviously it depends on where things are at. I mean, if they have the proper safety precautions, and people are not going crazy, and I wouldn't see why not. Hopefully things are kind of obviously. Some of these major states, like I don't know how it is in Michigan. Do you guys still have your state of emergency up, or because I know it's like Texas and some other places opening up?
28th, yep. Yep, to the 28th. We up still in quarantine. It's getting weird now. Like I'm going to the grocery store and I'm used to seeing people in masks now.
Right. That's gonna be. I mean, that's gonna be the big thing. Is like what's gonna be considered normal once we kind of get back to things. Like me personally, I never was a fan of shaking people's hands just to begin with, and I hope that whole shaking hand things just go away because I'm just not necessarily that I'm a germaphobe, but I've never understood like shaking hands. Like I hope that just goes away. But I remember, I mean, it's going to be a normal thing, man. We're going to be seeing people at the restaurants with masks on, just like it was when people used to smoke at restaurants, which people don't remember that people used to pull out smoking cigarettes in restaurants. But I think people going to have their masks, and if people don't have masks on at restaurants, people going to be looking at people differently. Like, oh, I don't know if we should eat here. It's going to be crazy, man.
Be different. Movie theater is really going to be different because that's where concerts and things like that. That's really So I don't know what they can do because I definitely don't want to go to a movie theater and they got like glass in front of mine.
Right. I mean, that just it takes away the experience.
Yeah, it takes away the experience. I don't know, man. Like movies can't sustain just releasing everything on VOD all the time. I mean, they're gonna lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
They need those theaters pumping out Tenet every hour on the hour. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To really get their box office return. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I love how Alex is just completely barricaded the door, got everything blocking the door. But going back to the theater conversation, it'll be interesting, man. It's obviously the whole conversation. What do they release films on VOD? The future of streaming and movie theaters, AMC not canceling out any films from Universal for here on out. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's a crazy time, man.
Yeah. I thought that still haven't been resolved yet with Universal.
No, I think it's gonna get resolved. Like I think number one, AMC is gonna probably realize we probably want to play Fast and Furious 9 when it comes out next year, and all Jurassic Park 3. I mean, those are some big films that you don't want to miss out on, especially with AMC claiming that a couple months ago they're supposed to be in bankruptcy, and now you guys want to blackball one of the biggest studios out there.
Bro, yeah. At the same time, yeah, Universal needs them too to play that movie, but
Yeah, yeah,
like it's like a pissing contest. Like
right,
somebody gotta give. I think AMC gotta give them play fast and the Furious,
right.
Jurassic Park. Yeah. hmm
I'm loving this performance right now by Alice Hardy. Like she's just, you got to get up and go. What you doing? You're moving way too slow for me.
Oh.
Like get up and get out of there. Catch up with some of these comedy. Yeah, like I said, a lot of people in the chat are really excited for Candyman, and I am too, and we both are. Did not come out already. Spiral, yeah, no, Spiral got pushed back to next year, late 2021. Let me catch up with some of these comments here. Y'all doing a watch along for Candyman? I mean, we could. I mean, what October is when the original Candyman came out? What was that? 90,
Yeah,
92, 91, 92?
something like that. Yeah, 91, 92, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want, we can do. Yeah, do a
Boy.
watch along. Here we go, guys. This is the big reveal. So, Chris, I know you're at home watching this for the first time, my friend. You got Mrs. Voorhees. Kind of putting two together, Chris. Yeah, I'm excited to get your reactions, Chris, and everyone in the chat. If this is your first time watching, I can't wait to see people's reactions to what's going to happen moving forward. But yeah, I would love to do October 16th. We can definitely mark that on our calendar. I'll do a watch along, celebrate whatever it was 92, so 28-year anniversary of Candyman. Definitely be excited for that. Sci-fi and horror are twin genres. Everyone else said that during the live stream. Invisible Man stuck with me. Makes sense that horror and sci-fi come together. Yeah, no, definitely. I love sci-fi horror, especially Lee Whannell, what he did with Invisible Man, and
Sci-fi horror.
also Upgrade was somewhat of a sci-fi horror, I would say.
Event Horizon, man.
That's definitely a great genre to blend together for sure.
Yeah.
Found Destination, Someone Missed a Found Destination. Those were good films. I love The Witch. Yeah, I was a big fan of The Witch. Did you like The Witch, Hugh?
It was all right.
Robert Eggers?
Yeah, they had some history in it though, but
Hmm.
that dialogue there, to thee thou thee,
Yeah.
and I thought
Black Phillip.
oh, Black Phillip, yeah, he started talking. I like some aspects of it though, but I was like,
Hmm.
father is an idiot, yo. Like when the baby,
Yeah.
look, it's time to go. Like, yo, let's get out of here.
All right.
We're protected. I know that's how it was back then. Like, man, you gotta be smarter than that, son. But overall,
Okay.
it was all right. It's all right. I like Lighthouse better though.
Yeah, me too. Me too, man. So sci-fi and horror can work together, but they aren't the same. They can go in different directions completely or meet the middle. Yeah, no, for sure. No, for sure. Yeah, this is big
Oh,
moment here, guys. I'll get a big reveal in a little bit for everyone watching at home for the first time. This was kind of, as we talked about a little bit earlier, kind of reminiscent of Psycho, but a different version of Psycho in regards to the switcheroo. There we go.
great Betsy Palmer.
Yeah. Season, that season was a fantastic film, Terry. Most slept on movie last year, no pun intended. That's funny. No. Most slept on film, Doctor Sleep. Yeah, it was slept on. A lot of people didn't go see that, unfortunately. I think it was a matter of the marketing. I think that if they would have called it, you know, The Shining, Doctor Sleep, it would have maybe got people in the theater a little bit more, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
sucks. But
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
yeah, me too. Yeah, I think it was headed like you did last marketing probably.
Hmm.
What it was. Doctor Sleep was a weird title.
Yeah,
What is this?
right.
I don't even know what it was. Yeah, mommy.
Yeah, Chris, I'm kind of catching up to the chats, guys, but Chris said he's really enjoying it so far, but that was like 20 minutes ago. So I wonder where you are with it now, Chris, with this big reveal. The Descent was awesome. We'll be talking about the Descent a little bit later. I really love the Descent. Nice claustrophobic environment and really, really awesome movie. Dog Soldiers, that's a good one too. It's been a while since I've seen Dog Soldiers. That's a good one. Conjuring 3 should be werewolves. Yeah, it would have been cool, but I don't think they're going that route. This Borgies ain't playing.
It's creepy, boy. I love it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too. Saint Maud. I saw that trailer a couple weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago. It was earlier this year. Did it end up coming out? Or is it still not out yet? Or premiered on festivals. Antlers was something I was looking forward to. Did you like that trailer for Antlers?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I know I've seen Antlers. The trailer.
I can't remember the guy that did Out of the Furnace movie, Scott. I can't remember that, but yeah, that trailer was really good. I know Guillermo del Toro is. And speaking of Guillermo del Toro, he's another person that the practical effects are really big for him. I'm a big fan of Guillermo.
Oh yeah, it's fire.
Snake Eyes, Tenet, Wonder Woman 84, Kong versus Skull Rider, and Black Panther, or Black Widow. I assume that's probably your most anticipated film, United. Yeah, those are some good ones I'm looking forward to as well. Texas is opening. We don't care. Yeah, Texas, man. I saw the other day they opened the beaches, and it's like 2,000, 3,000 people like got it from open, over the last couple of days. It's crazy.
Well, just like from beaches or
from opening the beaches, yeah. Like they had like a record high like peak in the virus spreading. So
that's the main thing about it. That's why I think they're pushing it back a little more. Like we don't want to do all the work and let everybody out and then back where we are. It's a weird time.
Yeah, Tara's agreeing with me. You need to go in and get rid of handshaking and hugging and. I mean, you can hug the camera, but the handshaking. If I don't know you, I'm giving you a little elbow to elbow or just head nod. Handshakings are going out of my repertoire entirely. You got who's that? Yarn? She throwing yarn in it? Yarn gonna do?
I know they do in these horror movies. It's the thing. Yarn.
Smack her.
Yarn today.
Does she have some super strength or what? She's just tossing Alice around like a rag doll. Oh, got her.
She slapped her down, son.
Gotta love this acting.
Yeah.
Gotta love it, man. They don't take themselves too seriously. They're having fun. This movie is so cool so far. Like I said, such a charm, man. Yeah, Chris is liking it, man. This is everyone in the chat. Chris from Talking TV podcast. This is his first time watching it, so he's liking it so far.
The first Friday the 13th film.
Yeah.
And that's special.
We got Event Horizon. We talked about that a little bit earlier, and then Midsummer versus Hereditary. Pick one. How much go first, Q? Which one was your favorite out of the two?
Don't make me do that one, huh? I like those. I like both of those films. I'm gonna go with. I'm going with
Hereditary.
Yeah. Overall, I like both these films.
Mm-hmm.
But Hereditary just had a better, I guess, overall story, even though it's still bad, young, crazy. You know what I'm saying? Where I could shooting a movie in broad daylight and beautiful and flowers. It turned out to be highly disturbing. Quite an impressive. Yeah. So I'm Hereditary though, because that was leave the theater when the part happened. My girlfriend was watching the part. She hadn't seen it. I knew it was gonna happen. She made a scream like, "Whoa!"
I'm right there with you, man. Hereditary got the dub for me again. Both films for Ari Aster is really great in their own right, but for me, Hereditary, man, that movie gets under my skin, man. Like that film, I remember coming home at night, looking in the corners of my room, thinking there was someone there, and I mean that film's disturbing, as you had mentioned, the scene with a particular character involved in a car. It definitely caught me off guard. That is a really good film. But like you said, Midsummer, to be able to bring all those colorful, the atmospheric, environment, and being in, where in Sweden or wherever they were, and kind of creating that, what I love about Ari Aster, his films, they're complex to a certain extent, but they tell a story about, grieving, and with Hereditary, how people handle grieving, and their parents, and then all that stuff, and then Hereditary or Midsummer is just like we were talking about when you were joking around with rom coms. That's a breakup film. How people handle breakup and being self dependent on someone. So I love how the stories are so complex, but they're like simple in regards to like the messaging. So, but now I gotta go with Hereditary too.
Yeah. What about Florence too when she gets crying?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's great, man. She gave a hell of a performance.
Oh,
Yeah,
and too with Hereditary.
Yeah, back to back.
I was like,
Now his
oh,
next film, he needs to have both of them in the movie.
oh,
Having
crying
Tony
together.
Collette and Florence Pugh for sure.
Yeah, and they lose like a
That sounds
goldfish
like to me.
and they cry. Yeah.
That would be dope. That would be dope. I didn't dislike it, but then we go to the Hereditary. Oh yeah, Hereditary is great. I love Hereditary. Yeah, a lot of people agree with Hereditary. Good writing. What a creepy character, loving this. Yeah, Chris is loving it, man. He's just gobbling it all up. This is awesome.
Oh, he hit her with the frying pan.
Ooh, got it.
That was some
Cast iron. Cast
cast.
iron game. Someone made me tired. Somebody gross.
Yeah, buddy.
Somebody, yeah, but it was a cult film and a slow burn.
Don't drink tea.
Okay. Appreciate that. Yeah, so just like the St. Ma film's coming out later this August. Yeah, I saw the trailer. That looked really good. I'm gonna definitely check that out. We got another Hereditary.
One thing about the Friday 13th game is really cool. Like all these sets, all these bolts and everything are in the same game.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. That's what's cool.
Let's go.
Up the little bolt. So they got the atmosphere really right.
Candyman, St. Ma, Antlers.
I'm gonna look it up after. I know.
Yeah, no, that was. I gotta look up the director, but no, that looks really good. I know Kerry Washington's in it, and like I said, I know Guillermo is attached as the executive producer, and the director. I'm gonna say his name's Scott. I know he directed that film with Christian Bale, Out of the Furnace. Let's see. Machete versus the paddleboard. Paddleboard wins.
I mean, I got this. Yeah, we used to have Frank Ocean sweater. So I have the sweater. I have the sweater like behind my chair, and I can tell it like the whole like the sweater. Yeet.
There we go. Slow mo.
At that time, I've never seen nothing like that. Like when I was a kid, and I watched
Yeah.
I'm like a kid. I'm like 7.
Now you're because like I'm watching the uncut version and you're seeing Mrs. Voorhees getting her head chopped. Is it just as brutal as it is on my end? It's kind of showing you blood and the bones and the neck bone.
In this,
Yeah.
it's pretty brutal. I bet yours is even more brutal though. Like it's probably like crazy. Yeah. The special effects said they had the dummy head up with tape and toothpicks.
Wow.
They had it hanging on, so like when it go, they just fly the whole time. To be a couple toothpicks. Oh yeah, that was a great death though. Yeah,
Yeah, that was. That
this is
was.
1980. You know, we're not. Yeah, we see it all the time now, but back then, I mean, in 1980, they wasn't really chopping people's heads off.
Exactly. It was setting the precedent for everything that we saw from decades later. And then we talked about it now that, Chris, you saw the reveal. It was Miss Voorhees that was killing everyone, and in lieu of her son dying, and the camp kids not paying attention to her son. And you got a nice little surprise coming up here for you, Chris. And I don't want to spoil that. But yeah, you had mentioned it. It definitely has its similarities to Psycho, except for, Norman Bates pretending to be his mom and having, doing everything his mom said. You got the mom, and vengeance of her son. So, I mean, it was great, man. And again, this kind of it held off of showing you the villain to last, to the last, 15, 20 minutes. And, everyone thought that it was going to be a man. That's another big thing, too. It was a woman killer, something kind of different during those 80s.
Yeah.
We're so used to the final girl tropes and all that, which we still have a final girl, but to see the mom being the villain. And,
Yeah. I thought I was Jason because I seen part 3, so and then I seen this one. So I thought it again, like, oh, I didn't know I'm always killer.
So, Chris, again, this is your first time watching, Chris.
So beautiful.
Got a big reveal coming up here, ladies and gentlemen. This is a pretty good. Again, going back to, I wish there was footage of people in the theater for this last shot here.
There you go. That freaked people out, dude.
Yeah, man. She was like, "Oh, I made it. Right. Oh, beautiful day." Nope. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Got him.
I can only imagine people during that time. Probably you hear the stories of people watching The Exodus for the first time and passing out of the theater. I would imagine people freaking out when it happened.
Freaking out, son.
It was all a dream. And it's been so long, but in the follow-up, and again, for Connor asking about earlier the sequels, she's in the second one, isn't she, Alice? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And something happens pretty early on in that film.
Mm-hmm. Dang, 40 years, huh? Dang.
Yeah, man, celebrating his 40th anniversary. Crazy. Yo, that's what I'm saying. Woman killer, love it. Would never have expected that, especially consider that decade. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Chris. It was definitely something new of its own time. Like, of course, we've seen villain female protagonists during those time, but not to this extent in regards to the big reveal. It was the mom, doing vengeance for her son. So definitely stands in its own. And some people, I know for you and me, it's not our favorite in the franchise, but some people, this is like revered as their favorite in the franchise. And a lot of people, this is one of their favorite horror films of all time. It's nothing but respect.
Yeah. Still a great horror movie, though.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I mean, that we know them now, but, the tropes we didn't know back then, and then they have never seen this type of environment or this type of setting. And right. You just bring this on there, and it's directed well, the music's good, and it's creepy. I think it's a very good horror movie. I think a couple of them on the Friday the 13th before they started to get a little outlandish were very like part 4. Like I say, I think it's a very, very good horror movie. Or they started getting silly with it, but that's like Halloween is not a comedy. Like the first. It's definitely a horror movie. And that is probably like the second one of the slashers right there.
Right.
After Halloween, being Friday the 13th. And Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, there it is, guys. Again, this film is celebrating its 40th anniversary to the very date. 1980, May 9th, 1980. It's 40 years. It's staying kind of. It's definitely a movie of its time, but it's still kind of 4 years later, still kind of holds up in a lot of ways. As Q brought up, the creative kills, and the idea of just a simple story of a mother on revenge. So it's a very, very simple story, and I kind of like that aspect of the film. And again, this is it stands as one of the first ones to kind of do it. And I'm glad we were able to check it out and break it down and talk about the pros and cons and kind of the history of the film. So with that kind of being said, we'll kind of leave the final thoughts towards the end and kind of wrap up things in about 15 minutes. But there was a couple games. Q, if you got a couple moments, and I had a couple. I'd love to get your thoughts on some of these characters that I picked out here. So this is a game, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play here. So essentially the name of the game, and again, participation in the chat, definitely want to have some fun with this game. So the game is called Jason Versus. So Q, I would like to know, number one, just from the name of the Jason versus who wins. So if I put Jason versus XYZ, Jason versus someone, who's going to win the battle? And then also I want to like to know what's your idea of Jason's franchise versus that particular person's franchise. Who you got winning, as far as your personal favorite and kind of your pros and cons. So let me bring up Jason versus here. Let me pull it up. Give me a second, guys. Go here. Let me turn off the clock. And let's see. Get up there. And then, all right. So first on the list for our first contender on Jason versus, again, who would win in the fight, and what do you think about the particular franchise, and which one you think holds up? Which one do you prefer? I know Jason, this is your favorite franchise, but just kind of in regards to this, who has maybe the better slate of films. So first on our list,
better slate of films or not? In a fight.
So first, who will win in the fight, and then also just like your overall thoughts of that particular franchise. Like, which one do you think is a little bit? Even though I know this is like Jason's your favorite, but in regards to this, okay, got you. So first on our list, we're gonna go with this particular character here. Who will win in the fight, and what's your thoughts on the franchise?
What we got?
So we got Jason versus Chucky. I think it might be easy, but I mean, Chucky, give me the power, I beg of you.
Man, Jason will rip Chucky into pieces. With bare hands, though. You know what I'm saying? It's not even fair. Like Jason is like 8 feet tall.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Undead, unkillable. You know what I'm saying? Like you can stab. You can stab him you can stab Jason in the face with a machete and it fall out of him, and he'll be back, the next day. And then Chucky's just no competition to him in the fight, you know what I'm saying? Okay. No competition. What is he gonna talk him? I mean, he can disrespect Jason to his face, he might hurt his feelings, but if Jason gets mad enough, he'll just rip Chucky into pieces.
I hear you. I figured I'd give Jason franchise wise,
Now, franchise-wise, man, I still got to give it to the Friday 13th franchise overall, because all those VOD straight to VOD seed of Chucky,
Cult of Chucky,
another the one with Redman in it. It got really convoluted and washed down. Those first three are pretty solid, though. So I'm still with Jason on this one.
Okay, I want to give Jason kind of a little lightweight, see what he can do with Chucky. Definitely give Jason the win on that one. Definitely.
I like Chucky though.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, guys, let me know in the chat who you got winning this first round, Jason versus Chucky, and which franchise do you prefer more? So on to round 2.
Love you, Chuck.
Jason versus Ghostface.
Oh yeah, Jason versus Ghostface. Good one. Good questions here, bro. Good questions. But overall in the fight, even the two of them, Jason still kills both of them.
Still taking them out, yeah.
I think he takes them out. He's just too powerful. I'm like, what Jason are we talking about? We're talking about like any Jason, really. Yeah, probably any Jason would, maybe they might have a chance of the one who jumped out of the boat, They might,
the kid version of the teenage Jason.
Yeah, the teenage Jason. But like Part 4 Jason, the brutality of him, just
no competition.
He just don't stop. He's not playing any games. He's not calling you on the phone and asking you what's your favorite scary movie. He's coming to kill you. If he sees you, he's coming to kill you. That's it, period. Overall, as the franchise goes, Scream now has 4.
Yep.
3 is okay. 4 is kind of bad. 2 is pretty good. 1 is a classic. So overall, man.
And we can just go because we know that Friday the 13th has over 12 movies entirely versus you just mentioned the 4. So we'll just go 4 for 4 in regards to the first 4 screams versus the first 4 Friday the 13th films.
Yeah, that first Scream is written so cleverly and great, man. I want to go with the Scream franchise for the franchise.
For the first 4,
yeah,
gotcha.
The first 4, yeah.
No, I agree. Again, I wanted to give Jason some easy bouts this first time. So battle royale style, Ghostface. No matter if it's our killer from the first one, the second one, or the niece of her. They're all being killed. But as far as franchise, I think I would go for the first 4 screams over the. I don't know that the 4th Jason. Because I'm thinking of like the best of the franchise. So Scream 1 versus, and you would agree maybe Jason 4 is the best one out of the first 4.
Versus 4.
So who wins that battle?
Only because the plot is very, very similar to the other ones on Friday the 13th. 3 Camp Crystal Lake kids. Jason's back again.
Mm-hmm.
The stories are more interesting in 4. And Jason is probably the best he's ever been. It's probably one of the best horror movies in the franchise. Scream is just so damn original. You know what I'm saying? Coming from this genre, this horror genre. You know what I'm saying? And pulling all that. So me watching Scream, I'm giddy as a child. Like, so they talk about Jason. I know all these questions. I'm part of the killer. I felt more invested in Scream and who was gonna get it next. Almost like a who did it slasher film. Mm-hmm. So I'm going with Scream.
I'm right there with you.
Movie. And I love Friday the 13th Part 4.
Definitely. No, I agree with you, man. Again, Wes Craven. Again, even Wes Craven had a lot of, the behind the scenes of Friday the 13th. He had some influence in regards to working with the director, Sean Cunninghan, in regards to coming up with some of the ideas and working together. So Wes Craven, obviously one of the greatest to ever do it in the horror genre. Rest in peace, Wes Craven. But yeah, I think I got to go with the first Scream over the 4th Friday the 13th. Again, 2 great films, but I definitely agree with you. That was such a, like I said, who done it, who's going to be next, who's the killer, and then I love how they kind of played on the idea of the tropes of horror films, And
all the characters are great, exactly. Stewie, Billy, Ned Campbell, Henry Winkler, even all the characters are likable and good. Matthew Lillard, which I loved him in that film. Mm-hmm. Oh, they're gonna be so mad at me. So that goes Scream.
I'll be back.
We always get a sequel, baby.
I think you cut too deep, Billy. I love Scream, man.
I'm getting woozy here.
I'm getting woozy. I love it.
Me too.
So on to our round 3. Jason's winning the fight so far, but we got, Scream was able to win as far as, the first 4 franchises. So now let's get into a little bit of a different conversation. We talked about Candyman. I ain't gonna say it another time. But we talked about Tony Todd's 1992 Candyman, and we're all excited for Yaya and the sequel and seeing what they do with it. But now we're getting into the supernatural. Those first 2 people, I would say Chucky's supernatural for sure, but obviously he will be taken out by Jason. Ghostface is a human, but now we got a kind of an entity, a kind of a little more supernatural character. So this will be interesting here, Q. Who you got winning this battle?
Yeah, this is a good one. This is a tricky one. Okay, so Jason's pretty much immortal. So is Candyman, but Candyman has powers of the bees, and he has that hook. It could be bad news for Jason, It could be bad news for Jason with that hook and the powers that he has. But I never seen Candyman go get somebody and run and really put that work in.
Right. No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I never seen him get the, really get the kill, come up creative to get the kill. But in a fight, and Jason's a big guy. I'm thinking like Jason goes to hell. So I'm going with Jason on this one. Going with Jason. I know I'm not trying to be biased, but I'm going with Jason.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I'm right there with you. And then as far as the franchise go, I know the Candyman 2 is okay. The rest of them just got crazy.
What was it 2? Yeah, Candyman, Farewell. It's Farewell to the Flesh, and I forgot what 3 was called. Day of the Dead or something crazy. I don't even remember them.
They're very forgettable, unfortunately.
Yeah. I kind of remember. I remember the first one. The first one was a very deep story, and I think it's
doesn't get enough credit, man. I rewatched Candyman for the first time in a while this past Halloween, like kind of a rewatch for celebrating the Halloween season, and I was like, man, this is a good movie.
Yeah,
like it's actually like a legit good movie. And then of course, touching on the topics of, I'm from Chicago, so taking place in the Chicagoland area was cool, and just kind of the, you know, bringing another layer to the horror genre, a black, protagonist and Tony Todd. I mean, there's a lot of precedent being set for this film. So it was a very underrated horror film in my opinion.
Yeah. And that goes right to my thing. I'm picking Candyman over Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
For the franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, two or three movies are more strong in Friday the 13th, but I think the overall plot of Candyman gets the win because it's so, like I said, it's such an original story. You know what I'm saying? The slave aspect. You know what I'm saying? Him coming back. That's just good writing. Good writing and a very good character that they made in Candyman. So
I agree.
But I'm taking Jason in the fight.
Definitely, and I gotta say it before we go off Tony Todd, motherfucker. Love it. So now staying within the realm of kind of the supernatural, Jason versus Leatherface. And this isn't really supernatural, but kind of brutality, visceral type of approach, big kind of, beast mode, cannibalistic ways. Who you got winning this one?
Leatherface versus Jason. Leatherface got that gut though. He got that gut.
A little bit heavy set. Yeah, he likes to pack on the pounds. He eats a lot of meat.
Yeah, but he do got a chainsaw
though.
You get that chainsaw. He's crazy enough. But Jason is maybe a little mentally off, and so is Leatherface. If they was to fight, they're both gonna kill. This is a tough one. Man, Jason rips people's arms off and bends them in half, though, and crush people's faces through RV doors. So I'm gonna go with Jason again.
Jason with that one, yeah.
Jason.
But don't be surprised. Leatherface might get a chunk of Jason's, arm or something. He might take a bite out of him.
Yeah, he might get him. He might put the chainsaw in him, pull it up. Leatherface thing. So it might be close. I'm going Jason though. But as for the franchise, that first Texas Chainsaw Massacre is probably one of the best horror movies of all time. Period.
Yeah, it's up there, man. Yeah.
The rest of the sequels are
pretty crazy.
Terrible, except for the remake. But the remake 09 Friday 13th. I'm gonna go Friday 13th for both on this one. One. Yeah.
No, I think I from a film, again, I think if we're going Friday 13th, which we just celebrated the 4th anniversary, versus Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what was that, 1970? I gotta look it up. But I'm going with the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre as far as just a film, because again, that film is brutal. It's wild. It's unrelentless. I mean, it is just terrifying, man. It's crazy. And then the whole 1974. Yeah, I can remember the date, but 1974, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then you bring in that creepy ass family and the mom. I mean, it was just, it's wild. So I got to go with a film. I'm going with the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but as a franchise, because the rest of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre gets really ridiculous. Like almost like parody of itself. So, but yeah, I would go with Jason for a franchise, and definitely want to read off some of these comments here, see who some of these people got in some of these fights. Connor says he loves this game. I'm glad you guys are liking it. Let's see who some of these people got with some of these Jason's hands down. So I assume this is the Chucky one. Let's see, we got Jason versus Freddy rematch. Yeah, I didn't put Freddy in this one because we obviously saw how that one played out. And I guess just for the sake of the conversation, who did you think, going back to that 2004, 2003, Freddy vs. Jason, who did you think won that fight in that movie?
I think Jason got down because he walked away with the head.
Right.
Freddy's head was still cut off.
Right. A little wink at the end, but his head was not attached to his body.
Yeah. Freddy got really messed up in that one too. You'd think Freddy would, take the more damage because of the dream thing, but Freddy took a lot of damage in that movie. So Jason, I think, won the fight, but Freddy might win the war with the wink. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then we got some people joining in. Bearded Review Jason versus Candyman. He got Jason taking the W on that one. Connor got Candyman taking the W over Jason.
I don't know.
People got Leatherface on this one. So okay.
Leatherface.
So let's see what we got here for our next candidate on the screen.
Leatherface is like a man, though, isn't he?
Right.
Like, yeah. So, but Jason, well, I don't know.
It's a good one. It'll be a good fight, but I think Jason, yeah, like you say, he's immortal, and he'll just, this brute force. He'll probably crush Leatherface's face off.
Yeah, like
yeah. So now we're going to an interesting one here. Mr. Voorhees versus Pinhead, and not Pinhead and his Cenobites, not his crew of people. It's just one-on-one Jason versus the Pinhead.
Well, you got me here.
Because this is, we talk about going to hell. I mean, this is where he stays. That's his crib.
Yeah, what is Jason gonna do to Pinhead though? He can't really touch him.
Right.
He can't get close to him because as soon as he walk up to him, chains are gonna come from every angle and pull Jason apart. Like you can already see the scene. It's like
right.
It just pulls Jason apart, and Jason is a pile of nothing on the ground. Because I mean, he's too supernatural. He can't get a hold of Pinhead, And I don't think he can kill Pinhead if he could, So
he could,
Pinhead. Yeah, he's too powerful.
Yeah, I'm saying there with you. It almost kind of reminiscence of a Freddy Krueger-ish because he has a supernatural, but if he's on Earth, he still has the abilities to do what he can do damage. When you're in his box, when you're in the hell. So yeah, I got Pinhead for the W. But regarding the franchise. This might be a hot take. I don't know if you agree with me. I'm not a big fan of the first Hellraiser. Mm-hmm. I think that film is a little too dramatic for me. The whole storyline with the auntie and the cheating on her husband with I can't think of the character's name right now, but that whole storyline does not work for me at all. Like, I'm not a fan of that storyline. It's interesting how she was obviously, feeding him, people, that. But I don't like. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's a very revered horror film, but I'm not a fan of the first Hellraiser. But what about you? Do you like it? Are you again? I appreciate number one, the practical effects. The Cenobites look incredible. Pinhead looks incredible. The gore is next level. But as a film, it ain't for me. But what about for you, Q? What did you think about the first Hellraiser?
We have eternity to know your flesh. And it was terrified. So the Cenobites was terrified. Like, I was like, as you, I was disinterested in what was going on with the weird cheated flesh muscle lady. That didn't really me, But like, when the Cenobites came out, you have my attention, son. That's why I like about the film and the change and the things like that. So I like the film as that. Not one of my favorite horror movies. I more prefer Hellraiser 2, Hellbound.
Yep. Same here.
They had the doctor. Like all those. It was like a Cenobite fight. This is like, this is what I really want to see. I could care less about the weird flesh lady. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what's going on. So like, I enjoy those two. If I had to pick a franchise over the Hellraiser versus Friday the 13th, I'm more of a fan of the Friday the 13th. But to be honest, Hellraiser 2.
Yeah, Hellraiser 2 is a good one.
Friday the 13th Part 4. If I put it up against that, man.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a hard one. That is a hard one. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I go Hellraiser 2, Hellbound. If I had to pick one.
Okay.
Otherwise, the franchise, of course. After 2, they started to get kind of silly.
Yeah.
Jason still had a couple good ones in there to make it an overall better franchise for the Friday the 13th. He still had a couple good 2 to 3 movies in there. Hellraiser, I don't even know. They went to space. Hellraiser.
They got crazy. They got crazy after a while. And I guess too, kind of sticking in the theme of Hellraiser, the announcement, I want to say maybe about a month ago, is that HBO is going to be doing a show, man. I think that's, I don't know how you feel about it, but I would be all in for a show, especially to give me some Cenobites, some origins going on. I'm really excited for that.
Do you think that'd probably be cool if they do like maybe like a anthology show? Something happens, and then the Cinebites will come and things like
Yeah, yeah, man. Sign me up, man. Like again,
yeah.
especially
Oh,
too on HBO. Big fan of the immature audience, the platform that they give you, so they can go crazy with that
mm-hmm.
with the
Love
platform. But
too. Like man, HBO brings some fire.
yep, I agree. I agree. So I think we definitely agree that Pinhead got the W on that one.
Yeah, you got the W on
And
that.
before I go to the next one, definitely want to thank you, Mister Guy at the movies for the $5 super chat. Leatherface is absolutely terrifying to me. I used to have nightmares. Yeah, that first movie, man, the '74. Yeah, chainsaw swinging around, belly hanging out, wearing a jacket, Tommy Boy jacket going on, big boy in a little suit. I mean, yeah, it's Leatherface, man. That guy's me, man. But David, we got Guy at the movies. Joe, I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate the super chat. Guys, definitely check out his Instagram. He has a really good Instagram account. He also has a YouTube channel, so definitely check out Guy at the movies. I appreciate the super chat, my friend. I'm glad you were able to stop by tonight. But yeah, Leatherface is terrifying. That's without a doubt, without a doubt. But yeah, a lot of people agree with us. Hugh, they got Pinhead is creepy. Yeah, Joe's in the chat. Everybody, Hellraiser 1 and 2 is amazing. Yeah, we definitely. One, not so much. Two, I agree with you, Bearded. I really like two. One doesn't work for me. Per minded. He made a guy that says, "Yo, my bad, I missed the whole show. No problem, my friend. It's all good, man. I think I got you set up. I think we got I'm doing another celebration for the Shining 40th anniversary. I think we're gonna get part mine on that one. So we'll link up again, my friend, man. But no worries, man. I hope all is well, my friend.
Now that's
We'll
my
definitely
favorite horror movie of all time, The Shining.
the Shining. Yeah, I love the Shining, man. We might have to. I might have to talk to you after this, Q. I think I got a couple people on the panel. I would love to get you on that panel too, man. We'll talk about that a little bit after because I would love to get your thoughts on that film. But yeah, we got some other people mentioning the first two films. Not a fan of Hellraiser. Perk says, yeah. Again, guys, I respect the Cenobites, the practical effects, and all that stuff there. But that story, not for me. Not for me.
More though, you respect Cinebites or Cinebuns? It's a tough one.
Both. They went to space. That was all crazy. That went
One
crazy.
Life. Why do I know the name of that one? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. So we got it's been interesting so far. So I got a couple more people here that I want to see who you got, Q, and then also people in the chat. So let's go on to our next battle. This is a little bit different. So this is another supernatural type of character. We got Jeeper. Or was it? What they call it? Just the creature? Was it just the creeper? What is it? The creeper? Okay. Yeah, I mean the director is definitely a creeper. But in regards to this first film, who you got one in this one here? Jeepers, creepers,
Where'd
you got on this one?
Yeah, the creeper.
Ooh. Yeah, man.
Creeper versus.
I mean, he got some tools too. He got some resources, some weapons of his own.
He can fly.
He can fly.
Hey, does the creeper beat Jason? I don't know. This is a tough one. I don't know, man. I think in a one-on-one fight, I think Jason's stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might be stronger in the fight. He might be physically stronger, but if Creeper gets a hold of him and starts flying with him and doing weird stuff, I think Jason wins in the fight. I'm taking Jason. Especially
too because we know that the Creeper, he has his whole hibernate. He hibernates for 20-something years. Mm-hmm. If he ain't 8, he's going against Jason. I think Jason got the W. And then I think too, I like the first Jeep of Creepers. Again, I always like to separate the art from the artist. The director has a very, very troubled past and history and all that stuff. But putting that aside, I like the first Jeep of Creepers. The second and third, not so much. But the first one, I like the first one. But yeah, I think I would even go with the franchise. I'll go with Jason with that one as well.
Yeah. Me too. The franchise as well. I'll go with Jason as well. Yeah, I didn't even watch Jeepers Creepers because of that.
The director.
I was like, I just left that taste in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
yeah. Like I said, I always try to separate the art from the artist, but that some things just like I can't support certain
me too.
things like that, man.
Like, you know,
and I didn't know about it. Like I saw, and I saw. I didn't even see the third one. I think by the time the third one was coming out, I had did some more research about the director and everything that was going on. I was like, oh man, I can't. And again, I always like to separate the two, but and not to get this isn't necessarily a political conversation, but I can't support.
I hear you 100% on that one. Yeah. Let me get into it.
Guess people in chat really enjoying this, watching all. I appreciate it. Thank everyone again. For those that are stopping by, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, but also do a huge favor, support my man Q. Check out his YouTube channel. He has some great content, as you all can see from the stream. Very insightful, very funny, knows what he's talking about. So support the man's content. Check him out on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. A lot of great content. We got some more people talking about Jason would kick creepers. That is very true. I think we would agree with that. We got Perk Minded Jason. Oh, I got that might be a battle. Perk, that might be a battle. We'll see. Love Jeepers Creepers. Joe says need to rewatch. Yeah, like I said, the first one definitely has some good moments. And Justin Long, his daughter, his sister, and that twist name is pretty unique. So. We got our next competitor here, Jason versus, there you go, Perk. There you go. And this one is the one I'm waiting for. I had to leave. I personally, I think this is saved the best for last. So, Q, the stage is yours, man. Who you got winning this?
Oh, man, I'm out of here. Thank you for having me. They gotta fight. Man. Well, this one would probably be the undisputed heavyweight fight of the night.
Man.
Because both of them pretty are immortal. You know what I'm saying? Both of them are pretty much immortal. They can take huge amounts of punishment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who's stronger than one another. If I was to put my money on it, I would say Jason would be a little bit stronger.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
He'll be a little bit stronger. Now, who can take the most punishment? I don't know.
I mean, Jason got burnt. Jason got, drowned. He got burnt too. But, Jason's been burnt before, taking some of the knives in the eyes and fingers chopped off most recently.
He had a house dropped on him. Electrocuted, had his brain.
But, I mean, I think the worst of all, though, you can't forget, he got his ass beat by Busta Rhymes. He got smacked a couple times, but you don't remember Michael? He Busta Rhymes slapped him and then he walked away. He walked away from him.
Dangertainment.
Bus.
Yeah, Bus. I forgot about that. You brought that out.
It was at Halloween Resurrection, I think.
Yeah, with Tyra Banks.
Yeah, man.
Fire. Oh no. Yeah, Michael he did get beat up, and Ant-Man beat Michael Myers.
Yeah, that's true.
So in a fight between Jason and Freddy, it'll be a brutal fight, to be honest with you. I think it'll be a heck of a fight to watch. But I think Jason takes the win in a fight because he can take more punishment. I think he might be a little bit stronger than Michael. Just a little bit stronger and just. I wouldn't say more relentless because I think they're both relentless on there. But I'll take Jason in a fight. But in a franchise, I will take Halloween.
Yeah, same here, man. I think we talked about it earlier in the stream in regards to number one. I'm a little biased, guys. I got to go with Jason or Michael on this for the W as far as the 101. I love 78 Halloween and the most recent Halloween, and I think Michael he finds a way. He's a shape. He's a silent killer. He's not like you say. He might not be as brutal, as big, as strong as Jason, but I think Michael Myers would find a way. And we got a couple people joining into this one. Bearded reviews, film reviews. So that's a tough one. We got and Gloria saying Michael will win here.
Fight franchise.
In the franchise, yeah. And then
man.
Perk Minus and Jason was in the back to his mama. Hey, we don't know. And then Bearded Film Review says, honestly, I think it might be a draw. I hate to say it. Yeah, it'll be a tough one, but I got Michael winning this one. Both franchise as well as in a fight too. Personally, I got my man Michael, the shape. All you gotta do is push Jason into a puddle, and it's a wrap. That's funny. That's funny. So I think that was the last person. Let me double check. And then there's just one more little game. If you still got time, Q, there's one more game I want to play and bring up here. Let me just see. Let me take this down and let me make sure. Is that the last person? Okay. So this one here with a little bit of kind of similar vibes in regards to just preference. Who's your favorite? Who do who's one of your favorite characters? Who's going to stand the test of time regarding just kind of who you like. So this game is called Badass Final Girl. So as we know with the slasher films, there always is a final girl. Mm-hmm. And over the decades and decades, even the most recent film that we just watched tonight, Jason, you have Alice who survived this first one, and things didn't work out too well in sequel. But she's a final girl, and we got some legendary ones. So I just want to kind of get your thoughts, and again, people in the chat chime in. I want to know who you got as far as this kind of preference, who you like, and just sharing your thoughts on some of these final girls. So I'm gonna bring them up here.
All right. Cool.
Let's see, kind of get your thoughts on some of these awesome characters that we got on the big screen. Let's see here. Bring up our first one. Let's see. So we talked about this particular character a little bit earlier, but I would love to know what's your thoughts on this character here. Let's see. So we talked about, I believe it's 2013. Correct me if I'm wrong, Q, or correct me people in the chat. Evil Dead. We got Mia, who was a badass. She was possessed, and then she had to kind of, she lost her hand, very similar to Ash. But I just want to get your thoughts on Mia from 2013 reboot of Evil Dead.
Oh, Mia was incredible, man. She was like, like I was rooting, I was rooting for her lead when she got possessed. I thought she was dead, though. I thought that was it for her character, especially if you see the scene here, splinter her tongue, right?
Yeah, man.
I thought that was it for her. I thought she was a rat, but she ends up coming back at the end. If you've seen the 2013 Evil Dead, it is just barrage of blood. If that, I think it brings blood at one time, and she's just covered in it. She's super badass. She's such a cool character to watch. Along with the direction of I think Alvarez or whatever, man. Mm-hmm. She's just super bad, though. I love her.
She's great, man. Like you said, man, this such a great character, such a fun movie, a brutal movie. I don't think it gets enough praise as it should have, in my personal opinion. But her as a character, like you said, I thought that she was out for the count, but she ended up figuring it out, finding out a way, and ended up, I believe her. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I'm really was a big fan of hers, and I really look forward to hopefully getting some type of follow-up or sequel or something, Ash and Mia teaming up or whatever it could be. But I thought she was such a great character. This was such a fun film, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Really enjoyed it. So we got Mia. Let me know in the chat, guys, what you guys think about Mia's character for 2013's reboot of Living or Evil Dead. Next on the list, we talked about her a little bit earlier. This is for those that remember 2011's You're Next. We got Erin.
Oh,
she was a badass, man. She was a badass character. And this, again, was Adam Wingard's film, a good slasher. And we were talking about it earlier, a mixture of like comedy, satire mixed in with the horror. What do you think about Erin, Q?
Yeah. I loved her in this film as far as I can remember. I haven't seen You're Next in a while. But I remember her just really because all the characters, you didn't expect her to be the one that was taking all this punishment out on all the characters. You didn't expect her to be that. We expect her. We were looking at her. We were almost like reading a book by its cover, and then she is super badass. So
right.
Taking care of people. So that's what I remember of her, and I really remember liking her character. Like, oh yeah. She's a badass a horror heroine. So yeah, my respect. 100%.
Definitely. And like I said, that was one of my favorite films. Dating back to 2011. Again, I thought it was going to be more of a comedy, but it was kind of. And we were talking a little bit about it earlier. You're Next. This kind of was like the You're Next before You're Next, or I'm sorry, Ready or Not. In regards to Samara Weaving's character and her being kind of the final girl. But yeah, Erin was a badass. She was someone you did not want to play around with.
Brutal, dude.
So on to our next badass final girl. Pull it up here. Close this out. So next on our list, let's see. Here. So we mentioned this a little bit earlier, this particular film, and this is one of my favorite films as well in regards to just the atmosphere and the characters. We got Sarah from The Descent.
The Descent. Oh, Sarah was out cold, son. Sarah was out cold. Man. And I believe, if I remember the movie correctly, they were kind of, hating on her a little bit at first. Her, I ain't gonna spoil the movie for her.
Yeah.
But when she came back, son, first these creatures in these movies were terrifying because you can really even see them really. Figure out ways to come up with ways to kill these creatures. Certain things. That was really smart and clever, thinking on her feet really quickly, sort of like a Tom Hanks in a Castaway. But she had creatures in caves that was trying to kill her,
right?
Friends, and she turned out to be just a complete badass. Oh, she gets the one of the highest levels of respect. She was a super bad heroine. I loved her performance in here, and of course, once again, all these pictures have something in common. They're all covered. I mean, completely covered in blood.
Yes, sir.
Down in these films, so they're definitely worth watching. So yeah, Descent. He was cold.
Great film again, guys. If you guys haven't seen The Descent, I believe it's on Netflix. A really good film. Claustrophobic environment, as Q was mentioned. There's some creatures involved in the film when they go deep dive caving. But Sarah was a great character. Her and the complex relationship. I believe the character's name was Judo. Something. Yeah. So and that whole storyline, and I don't know if you were a fan of the sequel. I wasn't really the biggest fan of the sequel, and I like what they did with it, but I don't know if you remember in one of the creatures, they had a scene where the creature was pooping, and they had to sit in a pool of poop of those creatures taking a dump on them. I don't know if you remember the sequel at all. It wasn't that good.
Yeah, but I don't. I do remember a scene like that.
It's not a good film. It's not a good film, I'm telling you. But yeah, no, Sarah's character was really awesome. I'm a big fan of Descent. I think she's a great character for sure.
Oh, fire.
So on to our next badass. Let's see, our next one here. Bring it up. Man. I think this is now we're getting to some legendary. All these characters are great in their own right, but now we get into kind of the OGs in regards to just people you think of when you think of slashers. Sidney Prescott.
Oh, Sidney Prescott. Oh, Super Prescott. She's almost up there with the poster childs of the Scream Queens.
Man.
Because soon as they started attacking Sidney, they could never really get her. They tried to get her in the first Scream. They tried to get her in the first 30 minutes, but she was back super kicking them and hitting them with all the umbrellas and things like that. And by the end of this movie, she became so strong. She basically defeated two men on her own. So as we go to Sidney Prescott, man, she's up there in the Hall of Fame for sure.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you, man. She's in the Hall of Fame for me. Interesting enough, just in this past week, it's been rumored that she's been maybe talked to with the directors of the fifth Scream movie in regards to making an appearance or having some pivotal storylines. I would love to see that. Sometimes you want to see these franchises maybe go in a different direction, but there's certain characters that you would love to see brought back into the franchise. And Sidney Prescott is someone I would love to see coming to Scream 5, which I'm looking forward to Scream 5 too, by the way, because like you said, the fourth one had its moments, but it definitely left a bad taste in your mouth because that was the last one in the franchise. So I would love to see them come back and better than ever for a fifth one. But Sidney Prescott definitely on the Mount Rushmore for me as far as Scream Queens and Final Girls. So now we're getting into some other characters here, kind of in the same vein, in a certain extent. Let me see if I can bring her up right quick. Back out of that and open this up. And this is another OG here in regards to just classic characters. We got Nancy.
Nancy.
Nancy Thompson
Yeah.
from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, she was 20 years old. Yeah. What can you say about Nancy, man?
Yeah.
Nancy took on like a mythological being, you know? It was
Mm-hmm.
more mental. It was a lot, it had a lot of more to do with mental than actual physical strength, too. You know what I'm saying? And she was like in Nightmare on Elm Street 1, when she came out of the dream and she made the whole Home Alone Equalizer booby trap home to bring Freddy out of the dream, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Up real good. I thought that was, you know what I'm saying, that showed her, some of her true power right there to show how much powerful character that she was. And then in
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3, she was like the keeper of the dream,
Right.
told them they could be dream warriors, the dream masters, if you will. So,
Mm-hmm.
Nancy is up there in the holy grail, man.
Yeah.
Like she's top three for sure. You know what I'm saying? She's top
Definitely.
three. Nancy took on and defeated Freddy. You know?
Mm-hmm. No, definitely, I'm right there with you, man. And even the a new nightmare, I thought that she brought another layer to her character, and I thought that she's great, man. Like you mentioned, just she wasn't just facing a psycho killer human person; she was facing an entity that haunted your dreams, and she was able to figure it out not once, not twice, but a couple times. So Nancy is definitely in the Mount Rushmore for me when it comes to just badass female final girls, heroes in a sense. And yeah, she's awesome. I love Nancy, and I would love to, again. I'm really interested to see what they do with Friday 13th in regards to another franchise or another movie and see where they go. Because again, the last one, was okay. I can't think of the actor's name. I thought he did an okay job, but he still, like you had mentioned very early in the stream, it is some shoes you can't fill, and replacing Freddy is a very hard task. But Nancy's definitely one of the best ever. Bless the screen with the blessings.
She wanted to she wanted to scream ghosts.
Yep. Now this one here, not necessarily a slasher, but I still think that she is a badass in her own right, and can I would love to see her go against Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, Pinhead. So this one here, I would love to get your thoughts on this particular character, Sigourney Weaver as Ripley.
Yeah, she is one of the goats. Yeah, you got the goat. Yeah. Well, what more can you say about Sigourney Weaver, man?
Yeah.
From Aliens 1 and 2, destroyed the whole colony of aliens along with Queen Alien. Away from her, man, y'all. She is out cold, y'all. Yeah. And you can't. What more can you say about Sigourney Weaver? That like she's up there like ghost status with Sarah Connor. Best leading women of of all time. And then back then it didn't have to be anything about certain agenda. She was
right.
That bad chick because she was just that bad.
She was bad, exactly.
Bad. You didn't have the question to ask why and wasn't any reason. She was just the one. She was just the one. So yeah, she's ghost status, Sigourney Weaver.
I agree with you, man. And we were talking a little bit about it earlier about the maybe blurring the lines with sci-fi horror, and she definitely is the queen of sci-fi and horror. Because in my opinion, the first Aliens by Ridley Scott is a horror film, for sure, by all accounts, and then the second one by James Cameron is more of an action thriller with some horrific elements. But so I still definitely put her in both categories, and I think of her and obviously Sarah Connor in the sci-fi realm for Final Girls. But yeah, Sigourney Weaver is Ripley, one of the best. And I don't know if you remember. A couple years ago, Neil Blomkamp, the director of District 9, was writing up an Aliens movie, and apparently they were weaponizing the aliens, and Sigourney Weaver was going to make an appearance. Nuke was going to be back. The whole cast of the second movie was supposed to make an appearance, and guess we'll never see the light of day of that, man. Because we got Prometheus and we got Covenant and all that stuff.
Yeah. Covenant, yeah.
Yeah, man. But now Ripley, she's awesome, man. Big fan. So last but certainly not least, definitely want to get your thoughts on who I consider the Scream Queen, number one, the OG, the best to ever do it, in my opinion. I think you guys might know where I'm going with this. I'm going to bring her up on the screen now. I would love to get your thoughts on Laurie Strode.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah,
man.
Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis. Yes, she started it all. She is she lived. Her mother was, of course, in Psycho, right?
Yep.
And then she came back to Stroll's character, a couple decades later, and
Yep.
Halloween, and took on the shape, the great Michael Myers. She has been doing it. She's probably the longest screen queen.
Yep.
Been doing it this long at this level.
Yes, sir.
Like, she's still doing it. She still got
Still doing it. Still got 2 sequels in the works. So, well, assuming that she makes it out of Halloween Kills.
Yeah, so technically, she really is the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Of slasher horror movies is definitely Laurie Strode. This is where the tropes come from. I mean, like, she the one who invented it. You know what I'm saying? The strong female lead character. And once again, she wasn't strong because she was female. She was just strong because she was that person. She's that GOAT. And you know what I'm saying? And she's the yin and yang to Michael, man. It's just a perfect peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And every movie she was in, even Resurrection, when they kind of whacked her off stupidly, I still enjoyed every time I seen Jamie Lee Curtis playing Laurie Strode on screen. She is the GOAT, technically.
Yep, I'm right there with you, man. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think I couldn't said it better myself, man. Laurie, she defeated Michael. She survived. She's the longest lasting screen queen to date. She has a film coming out hopefully later this year. She's lived, she's died, she's been brought back. So I'm a big fan of Jamie Lee Curtis, and I'm a big fan of Laurie Strode's character and her journey, and seeing where she was in the new one, 2018, post-traumatic stress, and how she raised her daughter and all that. And I love the different layers she brought, Jamie Lee Curtis brought to the character. So she's definitely my number one of all time when it comes to screen queen and a straight up badass female character. So definitely up there for me, man. So yeah, man, that was the last game I think I had. I think the last kind of finishing thoughts here as this kind of loads up, and then that down there. Just want to kind of, again, we were brought together today to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Friday the 13th, man. So, and I just want to definitely kind of wrap this up, and really want to get your thoughts again. I brought you on because I know you're the expert when it comes to Jason. That's your boy, that's your franchise. So, kind of closing thoughts here, Q, regarding just your thoughts on Friday the 13th, thoughts of the franchise and the future.
All right, cool. Once again, Elliot, thanks for having me on, especially here to talk about Friday the 13th. Of course, it's my favorite horror movie franchise. The reason why, man, it brings me back to a nostalgic place. Like when you get all your friends over, you got a special videotape. You got Friday 13th Part 3. You're not supposed to be really watching it, but we watching anyways. All type of stuff we don't supposed to be watching, and the violence and everything. But to me, I think it's got its own special charm. Are these movies ever going to win Academy Awards or anything like that? No. But I think Friday the 13th and the success that it had in the 80s, where it pretty much reigned supreme, is something to be honored by. They had this little budget, and they end up turning it into this huge horror movie franchise. They had to throw $5 million at a movie like Part 4 and end up making 32 back in the 80s. That was huge. So, and of course, I just love the guy Jason Voorhees, 3 and 4 and 6 like that, played by many different actors. And Jason was just always that brutal killer that I was rooting for. Like that you love to hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, these kids are fine, but I don't really care about them. What's Jason doing? You know what I'm saying? Well, how is he gonna kill this next one? I don't know if that makes me a sick person or whatever, but I just like the camaraderie of it all. I just I just like that. As far as the Friday the 13th series moving forward, we just got to get out of the legality hell, and they just got to figure out what they're gonna do with the character, because just like Greek gods and things like that, or legend stories, I think these stories still stand the test of time. Jason will be back. Freddy Krueger will be back later. I mean, I think these stories just grant tales to be told again. Just like you'll always see like vampires and werewolves come back. I think they have that type of stand power. So it's Friday the 13th. I think the future right now, I don't think we'll see any films within the next 1 or 2 years, but I believe in the next 5. You'll see another Friday 13th movie, and it's probably going to be, like you said, taken by a small director, and that you probably didn't heard of, to make a small movie, maybe like whatever, Antlers or something like that, and make this movie, and then propel him into superstar status. So yeah, I think it'll be back, and I'm just glad to be here. Been around almost as long as this franchise has been around,
Yeah.
and got the chance to see it all, the reboot, and still go back to it and still have respect for it. So yeah, Jason's my guy, and I thank you once again for having me on, and thank everybody out there for watching. It was
Yeah,
fun.
no, man. And I'm gonna have you definitely before we head out, give you another solo and kind of talk about your channel and where people can find you. But just kind of my final thoughts on the franchise. I pulled it up here. As Q brought it up, guys. You're looking at 12 movies in the franchise. You look at May 9th, 1980, budget of 550K to make a horror film, and it ended up grossing almost 60 million worldwide. And obviously, from there on out, we got a movie every single year up until about 1988, a little bit of a year gap. 89, 93, 2002, 2003, 2009. So I mean, this franchise has seen it all, guys. So it's definitely one of the Jason and this franchise is one of the best. Without Jason, who knows what comes of a Scream movie? Who knows what comes of these horror films that we mentioned earlier in regards to slasher and the genre? So you can't be here without Jason. You can't be here without the original Friday 13th. And it's a great franchise. And like you said, hopefully they figure out all this legal stuff. I remember LeBron James wanted to do a movie and his production company, so we'll see what happens there. But I look forward to see what they do with this character, who is a beloved character. He's a brutal character. He has some fascinating kills. And like you said, if they were to get their ducks in a row in the next 4 or 5 years, I would love to see Jason be brought back to the front of the screen and bring back the creative kills, the practical effects, the fearfulness of the character, the brutality of the character, and I think that this franchise can just stand the test of time. So, again, Q, man, like I said, I had to bring you on because I know how much you were passionate about the franchise, and I'm glad you were able to join me tonight, my friend. Again, I know PURP Minded wasn't able to make it, but we'll get him back on the channel, and I would love to get you guys on the panel together in the future. But kind of closing out, my friend, like I said, Q, let the people know where you're at, what your channel's about, where they can find you on the social medias, what can we expect from you next, and just kind of wrapping it up, my friend.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me once again, Elliot. It was a blast. I mean, yeah, horror was a blast. Your film knowledge is easy to bounce off of. So like, yeah, you have such a lot of knowledge about these subjects. So it was great just sitting here talking about horror movies and our favorite directors and who can. I mean, this was a blast. This is this is what I do this for. So thank you so much. You guys can also find me over at Q Reviews with an S. If you want to check out some, I just did a review on Friday the 13th, part 4, about a week ago. That I had a lot of fun with that. I'm also going to be reviewing some new things coming up right now. I was working on an edit reviewing Masterpiece, Rap Snack Ramen Noodles. Yeah, that's right. Rappers have ramen noodles now, so that should be fun. And then I'm probably gonna be reviewing some other things to come to the future. So hope you guys come on there and like the channel. We just chill out, whatever, ask whatever questions. I keep it fun and light. So thanks for having me on, Elliot.
Yeah, hey, man, it was my pleasure. Like you said, guys, check out his channel. All his links are in the bio, in the description below. I also too, I want to thank everyone that was in the chat. We got a couple more little things I wanted to kind of people was talking about before we head out. Everyone had a good time. Everyone loves Q. People are definitely going to support his content. Had so much fun. We thank everyone that was able to stop by to like, to comment, to interact with us, and celebrate this film and celebrate this for his birthday. But again, I got to thank my special guest, Q. This won't be the last time you guys see him on my channel. Again, support his content. He's a great, intelligent man, and he has some great stuff on his channel. He's very funny, as you guys can see. He has a great background in visual effects and has a great history of stuff. So definitely support his content. And Q, man, I can't thank you enough, man. I definitely look forward to having you back on again in the future, my friend.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you, man. I'm a huge fan of your channel. Anytime you want to have me on, man, talk about anything, romantic comedies, wherever you want.
Definitely, man. Maybe we can do a watch along for the Terrifier, right?
Oh, that'll be interesting.
That'll be fun, right? But no, man, we're gonna call in night. Q, if you didn't mind to stay on the chat once I end it, I just want to talk to you for a little bit, man. But anyway, for you guys at home, thank you again for watching this, watching along, supporting both of our channels. As far as me, I have a review on my channel now for Dead to Me Season 2. I'm going to be watching Eddie tonight and hopefully have that review out pretty soon. But keep an eye out for some more movies that I missed that I'm going to be bringing up on this channel, as well as some other content coming this week. I got my next watch along on Friday for the 5th anniversary, the 5-year anniversary for Mad Max Fury Road. And I'll have a special guest for that. And then the week after that, we'll have, hopefully I can get Q on the panel for the 40th anniversary for The Shining. So keep an eye out for that, guys. Again, thank you for watching this watch along. You guys be safe, and we'll see you soon.